To be a Steeler is to consider others before you consider yourself. To protect your brother, even from himself. To give support at your own expense. And when wearing the black and gold suit of armor, make sure nobody desecrates it, disrespects it. Most importantly, we ourselves don't dishonor it. From previous legends who have donned the black and gold. These virtues I learned while playing for the Steelers are what make the legacy of the black and gold timeless. They are passed down in the locker room from the steel curtain to anyone who valiantly wears the black and gold. Creating a brotherhood that is deeper than money, business, and winning. To be a Steeler is to consider others before you consider yourself. This is our culture, Steeler culture.
Now, here are your hosts, Rob and Dan, the Steel Twins.
Steeler Nation, how are we feeling after this 2025 draft class, man? How are we feeling about the new branch, new pairing of Pittsburgh Steelers, guys? I got to tell you, man, right off the bat, I mean, I'm satisfied. I find this to be a very intriguing, very, very solid draft class, especially from a value standpoint, where these guys were selected, how some of these guys fell to the Steelers picks. I like it, man. I will say, it is obviously not the sexiest draft. It's not the most attractive. It's not the flashiest. It's not going to blow people away like, oh my God, look at this draft class. It was never going to be. It was never supposed to be. It wasn't the year to do it. Could they have taken other positions instead of what they took later on? Sure, that's worth arguing. But it was never going to be the flashiest or the sexiest draft class, which that's never a bad thing. That's not a bad thing, especially when you consider that the Steelers really addressed a lot of needs, especially early on, such as defensive line and running back. And then they added depth all throughout day 3. They were a little more heavy on the defense than I thought they would be. They put a little more emphasis than I thought they would. Only 2 selections from this draft class out of the 7 were from the offense. It was running back and quarterback. We'll get into it. But the majority of the picks, the 5 picks, were defense. Yeah, five picks, defense, 2 picks, offense. So people are going to look at that number and be like, wow, man, our offense is going to be so exciting this year. It's not. It's not. We all know that. It's not. I don't expect it to be, though I do look forward to DK Metcalf and what he can bring. And I look very forward to what Kaleb Johnson is going to bring to the table. I think he is definitely an upgrade at running back. I look forward to seeing what DK and George Pickens can do as a pairing. I look forward to see the growth of the offensive line. I look forward to that. Do I expect anything crazy? Do I expect top 10? No, nowhere close. You know, I will also, I'm not saying this as a way of endorsing what they did today, but I will say you do notice that a lot of the offense or a lot of the previous draft classes were pretty offensive heavy, especially in the trenches the last couple of years. In fact, this draft class, this first pick in Derrick Harmon, it was the first draft class that we took a defensive player in the first round since 2019. So we have been going offensive heavy. Hasn't exactly worked out. A lot of the guys aren't here no more.
Yes.
And some are still a work in progress, especially on the O-line. But it's all a patient game, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what this draft class is also about, man. It's all about building the future. It's especially about building the trenches, building the depth pieces, building it stronger from a roster aspect for the future. It's not about making it a push this year or even next year, because I don't think they're that close. I don't think they're that qualified. And frankly, I don't trust coaching. But from a roster aspect, it's all about building everything, and it's all about patience. They have a heavy emphasis on the trenches, which they went 2 defensive linemen, which was a massive need. We all thought that they should have done that, and they did indeed do that with 2 great players, in my opinion. 2 different roles, by the way.
Yes.
They emphasized the trenches. They put an emphasis on the defense, maybe a little more than I thought, maybe a little more than many people expected, or maybe they would want. But, a lot of that is also towards, some of the guys on the roster that, frankly, have been a revolving door of the same faces and the same bodies in those depth areas like D-line or linebacker or corner. And they brought in guys to challenge such guys because I think that's necessary. We need to bring in hungry, young, fresh talent in those departments, and that's going to be your depth for the future. And I think that's a good addition to the roster this season and for the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's an underrated aspect of the team that it's not talked about enough. Depth is incredibly important, especially at edge, especially at D-line, and especially at linebacker. And they went heavy with it.
Yeah, and rolling with the same guys as far as depth department goes, rolling with the same guys for the past number of years, it just doesn't lead to success. Nobody's really taken the next step. They never really developed in the Steelers' light the way that they probably envisioned. It's just the fact that if you run with the same crew, you run with the same depth pieces, you're going to get the same result. I mean, it's basic.
Right.
Basic stuff.
And obviously the defensive depth has hurt us a lot because, one, the defense is always on the field, and that's not going to change. That's not going to change. We all know that. That's not going to change. But, because the defense was always on the field, we did see more injuries from Highsmith and Herbig last year. And Hayward was healthy, but the year or two before that, he was a little hurt. Larry Ogunjobi, who's not here anymore, but when he was here, he dealt with injuries. I mean, the safeties dealt with injuries. We needed depth in those areas because what we had prior just wasn't cutting it. So they made an emphasis on adding that. I do like that, especially for what they did on day 3. They traded back with their
5th round pick.
With their 5th round pick, their 2nd pick from 156, and got an extra 7th just to secure other spots. That's what they wanted to do. They went in with 6 picks. They left with 7. So they wanted to make sure that there was another position that they wanted to fix up before they could get any undrafted free agents.
Yeah, but what they did specifically, they got younger. In my opinion, I feel like they got better. You got to bring these guys in, bring them as competition, have them prove their worth, have them really challenge the guys that been here for a number of years. Just, iron sharpens iron. Competition is a serious thing in the Steelers' eyes. It's what they want. They want to get the best out of these guys, and they had to freshen stuff up. They had to freshen stuff up as far as defensive depth goes, and I have no issue with that. I don't.
And I know, yes, we didn't go as much offense as many people wanted. I thought that they would. I thought they maybe add another receiver. Maybe they go O-line depth because I think that's always a necessity. And you can never go wrong with wanting to add more bodies to the trenches. It's never a bad way to go. But no, they only took 2 offensive players. They took Kaleb Johnson at 83 and Will Howard
in the 6th round
at 185. So yes, there's not that much of a goal for the Steelers to go after offense heavy, but I also feel back that they have DK locked down. They're trying to lock down Pickens. Pickens was not traded during the draft, despite reports. He's not going anywhere, at least not this year. We'll see if they lock him down. They can afford it because they're not going to pay a quarterback any big money anytime soon.
Yeah.
They can afford it. They got a rookie running back under contract now. Warren, if they want to extend him, he's not going to break the bank. So they could keep Pickens if they wanted to. Most of the line is full of rookie contracts. That's McCormick, Frazier, Broderick, Fatanu, Spencer Anderson, guys like that.
Yeah.
So, yes, we didn't go offenses heavy, but a lot of the guys that we have are currently under good contracts and cheap contracts. Or for the rookies, DK, obviously not cheap, but guys like Warren, that's a good contract for him. If we want to resign him, he should be a cheap guy. Pat, Frymuth, he's here for next couple years. Pickens might get an extension. Obviously, the big glaring hole I'm not talking about, and I haven't noticed, is quarterback. We don't know what the quarterback position is going to lie for this season. Clearly, the Steelers waited till the 6th freaking round to take a quarterback, which means that Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Steelers, question mark? Is it imminent? I don't know. They know something that obviously no one else does. I guess they are really sold on the fact that Aaron Rodgers is going to make up his mind soon, or maybe they know Aaron Rodgers is coming to the Steelers. Maybe Aaron Rodgers just gave him a timetable. Maybe Aaron Rodgers has said, you know what? I'm going to commit. Let me just get the personal stuff out of the way, and then we'll sign on the dotted line when I'm ready. Nobody knows what the talks are about, but clearly the fact that the Steelers, one, didn't reach on the quarterback, which is a green light for me, and they waited to the 6th round to draft one, tells me that they are going to, hopefully, for their sake, get Aaron Rodgers. I personally don't want him. We've stated all offseason, I don't want Aaron Rodgers. I'd rather him retire, and then we can run with Mason and Howard. I'd be very fine with that for this year, because the goal next year is to go get your guy, go get your quarterback. That's the goal. And I think next year we're going to go very offensive heavy in that draft class. Not just for the franchise, the next franchise ideally, but other positions.
Yeah, I do believe that will be the case, and I think that's, the ideal move that the Steelers need to do. The Steelers waited till the 6th round to select a quarterback, which was, day 3 being the spot to select quarterback was you and my preference heading into this draft class.
Yeah, we did not want a quarterback in the first 2 days because the class was too weak and there was no quarterback worth one reaching or trading up for.
No.
Steelers didn't do any of that. They actually went with a lot of our preferences, which me as a personal fan, I'm very happy with. There's a poll in the chat for you guys. How do you feel about the Steelers 2025 draft class? 67% of you guys say you guys feel great. 28% say okay. 4% say upset. 2% say underwhelmed. I know there's going to be a lot of fans that think that that they're going to feel a little underwhelmed, maybe because of the lack of emphasis on the offense, or maybe because they didn't get their quarterback like a Shedeur or like a Miro or whoever else. This wasn't the draft class, guys. It wasn't the draft class.
No, it wasn't.
No matter the options or no matter who they were going to have at quarterback this year, they just weren't going to push the envelope. They weren't going to push the Steelers to new heights. The options this year were just not good. Not in the free agency pool, and definitely not in the draft.
No, the Steelers were not going to find their successor. They were not going to find their franchise. They were not going to find their guy in this class. It was just not going to happen.
No.
It was not the case. Everybody knew going into the NFL draft this year that the class was weak. Everybody knew that. It was Cam Ward and just a huge, wide margin. Everybody else is on that side. It's
right.
Cam Ward right here, and everybody else is over there.
Right.
That's just the way it was. So the Steelers, they made the right move. They made the right choices, in my opinion, with their selection.
They 100% made the right move, especially not going quarterback at any point in the first 2 days.
Yeah.
Thank God, especially seeing where Shedeur ended up. I'm happy for him, but there's a reason he fell. There's a major reason he fell to the Browns. It's not just his talent, bro. There's reports coming out of his interviews going bad from the combine, from his top 30 visits, how he tried to, control things his way, and he declined certain team interviews because he wanted to do things his way, or he wanted to interview with this team and not that team and not that team. He didn't practice at all at the Shrine Bowl. He didn't play the game at the Shrine Bowl. He didn't throw until the Colorado Pro Day. I'm very happy for Shedeur getting drafted, but at the end of the day, he fucked up his own draft stock. And I'm so glad the Steelers did not reach on him in the first round. That is the biggest win in my book, this draft class. They did not reach on him.
They brought him in for a top 30 visit. They did their research on Sanders. They did their due diligence to check up on him. And they had 3 opportunities to select him. And they said no.
3 opportunities, and they still passed on him.
They said
3.
no. Not hard to see why.
Omar Khan, heading into the draft, has made it known that he wants 4 quarterbacks in for training camp and preseason, which is, I guess that's going to be Aaron Rodgers if he signs, Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, and Skylar Thompson. But inevitably, they're going to draft a quarterback. If they didn't want Shedeur on day 4 or on day 3, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? They wanted 4 quarterbacks. They could have had them at a greater value. They still didn't take them.
No, they were willing to be patient. They were willing to take other prospects
and that goes
with their selections, which at that point were best player available options, arguably.
And better, bigger needs, in my opinion. And frankly, That goes for any quarterback in this draft class.
Yes.
You also noticed there were a lot of teams that didn't need quarterbacks. There weren't too many quarterback needy teams, which allowed them to wait on quarterback and still got somebody like Will Howard in the 6th.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff, man.
That's right.
Crazy stuff. Yes, I am hearing about the Steelers' undrafted free agent signings. We will get into that later on. We want to recap the entire draft class first, but we're going to get into the chat and see how y'all are feeling. We got Dr. Nova in the chat saying, I think Howard has some definite upside. I like him way better than Sanders. I do too. I also think he's a much better leader. I think he's one of the better leader quarterbacks in this entire draft class. I think he rallies an offense very well. He pumps up a locker room. He's someone that a team wants to play with and rally with and run for. And look what he did for our Ohio State Buckeyes last year. In the playoffs, nonetheless.
And all it took was one season. It was his lone season over there for the Buckeyes, and he led them to a national championship. And he had a great run within that playoff push.
Right.
He played superb football at the quarterback position.
Sure did.
And he was one of those quarterbacks that, in a weak class, he's one of those guys that when we were looking on tape, and we looked at a lot of tape on the majority of these quarterbacks, he was one of those guys that really stood out.
Absolutely. I agree. You know, we watch film on Shedeur. We watch film on Milroe, McCord, Shook,
Dylan Gabriel,
Will Howard, all of them. And I'll just say this. It wasn't a pleasant watch for all of them.
No.
Or for a lot of them.
No, I found a lot more cons in a lot of these guys than pros.
The only one I really found pleasantly enjoying myself watching quarterback film this year regarding prospects was Will Howard. That was my preference. Round 4. We still got him in the 6th.
I could have thought for sure he was going to go a lot sooner. There's even talks that he was going to go late day 2.
Yeah.
He fell all the way to the back end of day 3.
Unbelievable.
I don't know how. I don't know why. But I'm not complaining.
I'm not complaining either. I think that's a great value pick at his caliber, at his ceiling.
It is.
Which I don't see him being in the future, but if the Steelers want to give him a chance to be a starter, I'm not opposed. You know, he reminds me of Mason in a lot of ways, where he's a competitor. He rallies a team. He's obviously a lot more athletic and a lot more mobile than Mason is. But in terms of their pocket poise, their presence, how they stand strong and get the ball to his targets, and they give receivers chances, I see a lot of Mason tendencies with them.
Yeah, and we'll get more into it later down, but I do want to say this quick. When it comes to Howard and his mentality, he's got one goal, and he's got a big determination to prove that he belongs, and he always challenges himself to be better. And that's something that I love, I can respect, and I can appreciate and want.
Yeah.
At the quarterback position, even for a backup. That's somebody you want to rally behind.
And I think his floor, honestly, I say that his floor, I think his floor is a more athletic Mason Rudolph. And I mean that in the best way possible, because Mason Rudolph is a great backup, in my opinion. And if all we get out of Will Howard is a great, more athletic backup, I think we got a hell of a pick in the 6th round, especially at the quarterback position.
Can't beat it.
Can't beat it. How's the chat feeling, man? I think GP is here this year and then becomes a compensatory pick for next year. Well, let's say Pickens leaves next year. Let's say we don't franchise tag him. He gets a big money contract elsewhere. We get a 3rd round pick comp, but that won't come in until 2027.
Yep, that's right.
But that could be easily canceled out if we sign a big name free agent, like a quarterback, like, I don't know, a big guard, a big corner maybe. That could easily be canceled out. So I don't know. Lord knows what the future holds for Pickens. This could be his last year. But either way, him and DK, I'm going to enjoy that this year, despite who the quarterback's going to be.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what Pickens' future holds. It's really going to matter on how he goes out there, how he executes alongside DK Metcalf, and just if he's going to mature, if he's going to grow as a person and knock off the episodes. Let me just say that we'll see. We'll see what Pickens can do and what his future holds. But I do look forward to seeing the pairing of DK and George Pickens.
Yes. Dr. Nova in the chat says Howard was the only guy that really looked like a pro caliber quarterback. He may not be a star, but he can actually play. Agreed.
Yes.
He can play, man. He can play. That's a football player right there, bro. And that's a Steelers quarterback if I've ever seen one. The way he rallies, the way he's built. Crazy stuff, man. Danielle, how you doing in the chat? He says, Twins, what are your thoughts of the Steelers' last pick, the Harrisburg native? Yes. The last pick of the draft, Kent, the corner Kent from Central Michigan, which is Antonio Brown's old college. I'll put it out there. I think this might be the first pick we took from that college since AB.
Yes, it actually is. Yes, Donte Kent, cornerback out of Central Michigan. Yeah.
He's from our neck of the woods. He's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So to see another Harrisburg athlete make it, hey, I'm always going to cheer that on. Shout out to Shady. Shout out to Micah Parsons. Shout out to Donte Kent. Love to see that, man.
Big time.
Black from Iowa with a little coaching is going to be a Mamfa run stopper. And Carl Dunbar is a hell of a defensive line coach. Love Black from Iowa.
Yahya Black.
He's a big dude, 6'6", 336. I mean, that's the guy we needed at the nose. We needed that big frame, that wide, big body with long arms. He's going to clog that hole. He's going to clog those run lanes so easily. We've been lacking that for a while. We haven't had someone that big on that line probably since like a Daniel McCullers. That was years ago.
Yeah.
And he was more so of a special teams guy. I feel like Black's going to see a lot more time come early rundowns or short yardage situations.
Yeah, and he's from Iowa, man. The Steelers and their Iowa players, man, that they love.
We got 4 Iowa players the last 3 drafts. Last year was Logan Lee. It'll be interesting to see what he can do. He didn't play at all last year. It'll be interesting to see what he can do, especially alongside Black again. We got Kaleb Johnson. We got Black. And we got Sebastian Castro as an undrafted free agent.
I like that signing. I'm surprised Castro went undrafted.
Yeah, I find that a little disrespectful. I think he's too good to go undrafted. But I'm glad that he reunites with some of his teammates and he can add a camp body and some competition in the safety, especially in the nickel slot position. Love to see what he can bring to the table come training camp. He might be one of those already underrated sleepers come training camp to make the 53 if they give him the opportunity enough.
Usually when it comes to the Steelers and undrafted free agents, there's usually 1, maybe even 2 at most that kind of stick out and, prove their worth and make the roster. Last year was Beanie Bishop.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Absolutely, man. Let's start off with the 21st overall pick. How about that? In the first round, we were incredibly, and I mean this, incredibly aggressive in going for defensive linemen all offseason.
All of our mock drafts leading up to the NFL draft was nothing but defensive line in the first round.
All we wanted was defensive line. We didn't look at quarterback. Maybe they could have went running back or receiver, and they had options like a Marion Hampton and Matthew Golden.
They were on the board. They were.
But we were so heavy on the emphasis of going defensive line because we had no one there. We lost Doug and Joby. We cut him. We have Cam Hayward and Keanu Benton. No one else opposite to play that 3-tech. No one else. And we have no one to replace Cam Hayward. Well, now we do. If there was a year for them to have someone sit under Hayward, learn under from a great mind with him and Carl Dunbar, and then have him step in the second that Cam Hayward wants to hang it up whenever that day comes, you have the guy now with the 21st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers select Derrick Harmon, defensive lineman out of Oregon. We needed this guy, man. We needed defensive line help. We needed a future there. We needed somebody that's going to help in all components of that position along that front 7. We need someone to get that interior rush, which he is great at. That's his best trait, his quickness, his timing off the snap, his quick step, his aggressive punch off of the snap is very Keanu Benton-esque. But he's a little bigger. I'd say he's a little stronger, a little more quicker than Keanu Benton. 43 hurries last year. Unbelievable. He's got that interior push we really needed. We didn't have that probably since Tuitt left.
No.
We didn't have it. We had Alualu, we had Larry Ogunjobi, and some other guys fill in for the couple years after Tuitt retired. We haven't had that interior guy alongside Hayward since Tuitt. We just haven't had that youth. We haven't had that push. We haven't had that aggressive nature. We haven't had that immediate impact along that line since Stephon Tuitt. Now they got their guy in Derrick Harmon, and he's going to be a hell of a guy to help in the run defense as well. He's a stout run defender, long arms. That's going to help a long way too. They might start him at the 3-tech. They might start him at the nose, or maybe they keep Benton as the nose and work him as a 3-tech in sub packages. I don't know where exactly they start Harmon, but either way, he's going to be someone that's going to step up and be a day 1 starter, and that's what they needed on that D-line.
Yeah, big time. I mean, this guy is, 1, he plays like a Pittsburgh Steeler. 2, he is meant to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I think Con, Tomlin, or one of them, or maybe even both, they stated that Harmon brings Steeler DNA to the table. he embraces Steeler DNA. You know what I mean?
Rocky, they might this year, but yes.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
London Crow, appreciate you for subbing up, man.
Appreciate it. Harmon, he plays and he's meant to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. He's got the build, he's got the tenacity, he's got the mindset, he's got the aggression.
He looks like Hayward a little bit.
He's got, I mean, people compare him to Cameron Hayward.
He's like baby Hayward.
It's not really hard to, I actually like that.
Baby Hayward.
Hayward, yeah.
And he's
Harmon.
wearing 99, guys. I don't know if y'all saw his official jersey number for the Steelers came out. It is 99.
It's fire.
I got to cop that.
It's fire, man.
I got to cop that.
I mean,
It's been a while since we had a good 99 on that line.
Yeah.
Shout out to the beard.
of course, man. You know, he announced our 5th round pick. We'll get into that. But yeah, Harmon, he's a hell of a player. He has a high motor, very athletic. He's versatile around the line. You can play him in the nose. You can play him in the 3-tech. You can put him basically anywhere on that defensive line. He's going to give it his all.
Yeah.
Just what he brings to the table, his mentality, his mindset, can stop the run, can rush the passer. The guy was just meant to be a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yeah, I see Cam Hayward elite tendencies with Derrick Harmon. The only thing he's got to clean up is obviously, you know, he plays a little too fast. He misses tackles. He whiffs on sacks every now and then. He needs to learn to slow down a little bit. He needs to clean up on the missed tackles. But I think with time, I think that'll come real good. I think that's very coachable. I think that's very fixable in the next level.
Yeah, I do believe that he will be part of the future of the defensive line. I think he's bound to be Cameron Hayward's replacement. I mean, Cameron Hayward even vouched to get this guy. I mean, like, he was over the moon about Derrick Harmon becoming the Steeler.
Yeah.
And now Harmon, 21 years old, very young, and he gets to learn from a guy like Cameron Hayward and work under a defensive line coach like Carl Dunbar.
I know.
I mean, like,
And then
talk about a great situation for Harmon.
Then you got Harmon and Ben ideally as the future of your defensive linemen, your future DNs, because those are two guys with aggression and quick play off of the snap that will get immediate pressure, very immediate pressure. That's one thing you notice with Keanu Benton's tape. When they actually play him at the 3-tech, you let him play, you know, against the guard, you know, in between the tackle. He can really get some pressure. You know, he doesn't get a lot of sacks. Maybe that's because they don't play him as often as he should. Maybe that's why they don't. Maybe that's because they don't give him 3-down reps. Maybe that's why, or maybe that's because he's not lined up at 3-tech as often as he should. But in due time, he will. But you notice that interior pressure, and I get the same vibe with Harmon, bro. Is we need people to collapse that pocket. We need people to rattle the quarterback, and I feel like they have improved defensive line compared to last year. I can proudly say I do believe defensive line has been improved based off of the first pick.
And listen, man, they got younger, they got meaner, they got badder, and I can honestly say, I feel confident saying this, they got better. And that's what we need to do. That's what the Steelers had to do, and I'm glad that they did it with the first-round pick that they had, the 21st overall pick in Derrick Harmon.
They didn't have a second-round pick. Oh, why? I wonder how. Where'd that go?
We had to focus on wide receiver, man.
Who do we take?
Oh, we took a wide receiver out of Ole Miss.
Who's that?
Mr. DK Metcalf.
I heard he might be the steal of the draft.
Yeah, no kidding. Not hard to see why. Have you seen how he looks, his physique, his build, his athleticism on that field?
Yeah.
How mean he is on that field?
With the 52nd overall pick, the Steelers select DK Metcalf, wide receiver out of Ole Miss.
Hell of a pick, bro.
You know, we did mention how they didn't have a much emphasis on the offense, but that's probably the biggest move they could have made on the offense.
Hey, listen, Khan said that they needed playmakers. They had to get more explosive on offense. You can't ask for anybody better than DK Metcalf, man.
And that didn't stop with the 83rd overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers select Kaleb Johnson, running back out of Iowa. Explosive, burst, vision, footwork, shiftiness. Everything Najee lacked. And I love Najee, and I wish him all the best in LA with the Chargers. But he brings everything that Najee lacked. He's a bigger back, 6'1", 224.
Another 21-year-old rookie, a very young rookie at that.
Especially at the running back position. And you notice Iowa was very run heavy. Very run heavy that he dealt with a ton of stacked boxes. And he was still able to get as many rushing yards and as many rushing touchdowns as he did. He led that Iowa Hawkeyes offense and ran with the football.
Yep.
Ran with it. I know he doesn't have the greatest long speed. His 40 time might deter people away. Game speed's different. When you watch him with the ball in his hands, he has that burst, and he has the ability to create yards after contact. He had over 1,000 yards after contact last year.
You want to talk about breakaway speed, man, breakaway plays that he's able to do. You want to talk about explosive plays that he's able to do. Johnson brings that. And I don't consider him a slow back by any means because, like, when he gets a lane and when he gets past defenders, I mean, if you are a defender trying to take down Kaleb Johnson, best of luck to you because it's hard to, one, catch up to him and two, take him down, to tackle him.
People have said this is like a shrunken Derrick Henry. And I kind of see it. Like when he gets to that second level and defenders can't wrap him, or he breaks off tackles, or he breaks off for big runs and then bulldozes over some guys. He has a great way of faking defenders and using his footwork to create lanes for himself and to shift away from defenders and fight off defenders, man. He's a smart runner with his vision and his decisiveness and his quick stance and his movements. I really love this pick. I think this guy is going to be the next great running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And to get him in the third round, where I thought for sure he was a second rounder, he managed to fall to the 83rd pick in the third round, and the Steelers were like, yeah, we're taking this guy.
Right.
Not even double thinking it.
No.
They made the call. They were like, yo, Kaleb Johnson, you're a Pittsburgh Steeler. You're still going to rep the black and gold. And he's just a fantastic back, dude. He's one of my favorite backs coming out of this class. And it was a very stacked running back class. But he's a guy with great balance, great footwork, acceleration, vision, and whatnot. He's hard to take down. You know, he's got good receiving upside as well. You know, you mentioned that Iowa very run heavy, so he didn't get to see a lot of receiving opportunities as a receiving back, but I would argue that the upside is there.
I would argue too. I've seen a couple clips. I mean, it's mostly, just chuck downs and yak plays and stuff like that. But even so, Kaleb Johnson's able to create plays for himself. He's able to create yards for himself. I think his receiving upside is unknown. I think he's capable of catching passes outside his frame. I think he's capable of creating yak plays and some crazy, crazy plays in the backfield if he ever needed to catch out of the backfield.
Indeed. And another great thing about him, I should mention this, is his protection of the football.
Yes, huge. This is huge.
Yeah, because I believe he has not lost a single fumble since his rookie season. That was 4 years ago.
Wow. 4 years without fumbling the football?
Losing a fumble at that.
Wow.
That is fantastic. That's a fantastic stat. That is wonderful to have. You know, the Steelers and Mike Tomlin, they're adamant about protecting the football, not losing the turnover battle and whatnot. If I had to give him a negative, is maybe his pass protection skills. He's not the greatest. He's not the best, but that can get worked on. And when you're a Steelers running back, that's one of the main things that the Steelers try to work on is your protection to protect the quarterback.
Yeah, because Najee coming out of Alabama wasn't the greatest in pass protection. James Conner coming out of Pittsburgh wasn't the greatest in pass protection. And I'm not saying they were perfect pass protectors because the Steelers developed them, but they were a lot better, years into their Steelers career than they were coming in.
Much more improved.
So I think Kaleb Johnson, he's going to be able to work in that. And you also notice, people are worried about his long speed or they're worried about his receiving upside. Well, you also have Jaylen Warren, who has burst. You have Kenneth Gainwell, who is a receiver turned running back, to fill in for those absences of Kaleb Johnson, which will allow him to develop such characteristics as a ball carrier.
I'm down with that. I'm
down with that, Ben. It's your boy AJ with a 5. OH meets here we go. Howard loves competition and will be great. Bruener flies and hits hard. KJ is like Lev, and our D-line's fire. King Kong has an A++ draft.
Now with the extra plus there, it's your boy.
Hey, man, we appreciate you very much. And no lies detected. No lies detected, man. Yeah. Kaleb Johnson, KJ, whatever his number's going to be, I'm hoping it's 34. KJ 34, maybe?
34 at the running back position with KJ wearing it.
I get D'Angelo Williams vibes.
It would just be great. I would love to see 34 back at the running back position, but we'll see. We'll see what he gets to rep. Well, no matter what, it's a player that rocks a number. That makes the number stick out.
But I love this pick. At that position, where we were at 83, how we needed a running back. They brought in 9 running backs for pre-draft visits. Kaleb Johnson shouldn't have been there at 83, but he was. And the Steelers stole Kaleb Johnson at pick 83, and I think they got their next great running back. I can honestly say that this is an improvement. The first 2 picks, Derrick Harmon and Kaleb Johnson, I can honestly say that they are both improvements. They both bring explosive nature to their respective spots. Kaleb Johnson, better with protection, better with vision, better with burst, better with getting away from defenders, I think this is a home run selection in the third round for the Steelers, man. They couldn't have pictured a better two first picks, man. And we wanted them to go D-line first and running back second.
It was our preference throughout the whole draft process.
And that's exactly what we got. So that, as a Steelers fan, made us happy.
Very.
Very happy. I know a lot of you guys in the chat felt the same way. It was defensive tackle or defensive line and running back the first two picks. And that's what we got. That's exactly what we got. And I'm over the moon by those two alone.
It turned out better than I could have thought. I look forward to both what Harmon and Johnson can bring to the table. They bring youth. They bring faster capabilities, stronger capabilities, better performance potentially.
Yeah.
They got the upside to do it.
Kaleb Johnson has speed, says Vaughn B. I think it's underrated speed because if you watch a lot of his long runs, the way he's able to break away from defenders, he's not like a Bishop Tootin speed. You know, he's not like Chris Johnson or any of these other guys, right? But he's running away from these dudes and he's pulling from defenders. So again, game speed's a lot different than what was shown at the combine or what's read at the combine with his 40.
Yeah.
I think Kaleb Johnson brings all the characteristics we needed at the running back position to pair with Warren. Whether he's the day one starter, he could be the 1A or the 1B with Warren. Either way, I love that running back tandem. And I think we got more explosive and we got another playmaker on this offense. What did Omar Khan say? Heading into the combine, he wanted playmakers on the offense. He did that with DK, and I can proudly say he did that with Kaleb Johnson. I cannot wait to see this guy run the rock with the black and gold, man.
Oh, yeah.
Steelers want to keep running the rock. They want to lead with the run the rock. They needed a running back. They got their guy. They got their guy for the future. Love Kaleb Johnson, man. One of my favorite picks in this entire draft class. Vincent Creamer, thank you for subbing up to the Steel Twins, man.
Appreciate it. And I would say that the first 2 days were two huge thumbs up for the Steelers. Heading into day 3.
Steel Blitz 27 says, what's the word with Harmon's shoulder injury? I haven't heard anything.
Harmon already kind of debunked it, saying that he feels good, he's ready to go.
Yeah.
And that's from Harmon himself, so I'll take his word on that.
Right. I'm happy says a great class to draft a back in a while. Yes. Yeah, this was a stacked running back class. And that was some people's argument is, well, let's go elsewhere because defensive line and running back are stacked. And I get it. I totally understand that philosophy. But even though it's stacked, I'd rather still get the best guy available rather than lean or push it back later when those were the two biggest pressing needs, in my opinion, this year.
Yeah. And I noticed, especially day 2 early on, that the value of defensive tackles was really falling off the board.
Right.
It was really flying off, and the value was obviously decreasing despite it being a very stacked defensive line group. So if they didn't go defensive line first round, what type of star power, what type of player would they have gotten at 83rd?
Right.
That we'll never know, and I'm glad that we won't know because we got a guy like Harmon.
Kaleb Johnson's Lamar Miller says, I plead the 5th. I see a little more Arian Foster. I see a lot of people complimenting Arian Foster, and honestly, I can't unsee it.
If we get anything close to Arian Foster, we're in good hands at running back.
Christopher Chamberlain, thanks for subbing up. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it, Chris.
Khan stuck to the plan, didn't overdraft for a quarterback. Thank God. And that's the difference between Omar Khan
and everybody else.
And Kevin Colbert.
Amish Goat Milker with a 199. Who do y'all think will start a quarterback for the Browns? I'll tell you what, it won't be Dylan Gabriel, it won't be Shedeur Sanders, and it won't be Kenny Pickett.
I think it'll be Kenny.
You think Kenny beat...
It'll be Joe Flacco.
Kenny ain't beating out Joe Flacco.
It'll be Joe Flacco.
No, that ain't happening.
It'll 100% be Joe Flacco.
Appreciate the super chat, though.
I wish we'd taken offensive line depth. I hear you. I thought they would have. They didn't.
It was a preference of mine. I was kind of hoping that they would later day 3, and there were, some guys that were still available. At the time, Logan Brown was still there, Holland Pierce was still there, Brennan Crenshaw, Dixon was still there before he got signed as an undrafted free agent. There were some guys, but, the Steelers decided to go a different direction.
Yeah, but keep in mind, free agency is still a thing. It's very dead, but Omar Khan likes to add extra bodies after free agency. So if he wants to add extra people to the roster, if he wants to improve certain positions, I'm sure there's still certain guys out there that he can throw a little bit of cash at with the cap space that we have. I would expect that in the next couple of days. Benjamin Perez says, how much does this Kaleb kid fumble? Rob, please read the stat.
How much does he fumble, Kaleb?
Yeah.
He has not lost a fumble since his rookie season. I believe that was 4 years ago.
There you go.
He's a protector of the football.
There you go.
The football is in good hands when Kaleb Johnson has the ball.
There you go. Aaron Derrick says, I had Kaleb Johnson ranked the best running back on the board when they picked him. We got an awesome weapon. I agree, man. I really, really love this Kaleb Johnson selection. I think he's going to really pay off for the Steelers. Moving on, man. That was the first 2 days. Now we're into day 3 territory. We had, 4 picks going in? We left with 5. We left with 5 selections on day 3.
Yes, we did. But we did start off in the 4th round with the 123rd pick.
And I thought this would have been quarterback because I'm thinking, oh, they're not pushing it back no farther
No,
than
there's
4th round.
there's no way that they push it back.
Oh, but they did. They pushed it back even further than I thought they would. We still got our guy.
No, but who they took with the 123rd pick, quite honestly, it caught me by surprise. I'm sure it caught you by surprise, Dan.
And I was wondering why he was still on the board. I thought he would have been taken day 2, frankly. He didn't, and he was there at the 123rd pick. So with the 123rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Jack Sawyer, edge, the Ohio State. Yes, that Jack Sawyer, the edge, the Jack Sawyer that strip sacked Quinn Ewers and ran that son of a bitch all the way to the end zone to help Ohio State win the ball game. Yeah,
and the
that
Cotton
Jack
Bowl.
Sawyer.
And the Cotton Bowl. He's actually named Cotton Bowl MVP because of his performance.
The same Jack Sawyer that had 9 sacks last year, 4.5 sacks in that playoff run, including 6 passes defended. 6'4", 260.
Dog.
This is a absolute football player if I've ever seen one. You hear the phrase football player. This is a football player, bro. This is like a blue collar, hardworking, class act, leader type football player, man. This is a guy that's gonna come into the locker room and fit perfectly of what we breed at linebacker.
Yeah. Fit with the atmosphere, fit with the culture and whatnot, put fear into some quarterback's eyes, even as a depth guy to start off.
Yeah, because I do see this as a depth piece. Could he be a developmental starter for the future? I don't want to rule it out because I think the potential's there. But immediately he would be a great depth piece alongside Nick Herbig. Guys, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith as your starters, Nick Herbig and Jack Sawyer as your edge depth pieces. Like what? Now you're probably
it's a 4-man beast right
now
there.
you're probably wondering, well, was a 4th edge piece that important? The answer is yes. And Rob will tell you exactly why.
I will tell you exactly why. Because last year, if you remember, Alex Highsmith dealt with some injuries and so did Nick Herbig. And Highsmith and Watt together only played 11 games together last year. That's it, 11. Herbig played in 13 with 5 starts, obviously filling in for Herbig or for Highsmith, when he was hurt. And to start off the season last year, Watt and Highsmith played together the first 3 games with Herbig until Highsmith injured his groin versus the Chargers and had to miss multiple weeks. Herbig stepped in versus the Colts and Cowboys, but then got hurt versus Dallas. The next week was the Raiders game, and Highsmith was not back at that point. He was still dealing with his groin injury, and Herbig got hurt in the Dallas game. So the starting outside linebackers for that Raiders game was TJ Watt and Jeremiah Moon.
Jeremiah Moon, nothing more than a special teams guy.
That's all that he is, in my opinion. And so while Watt and Moon started for the Raiders game, the next week, Highsmith came back while Herbig was still hurt. Highsmith came back and he played versus the Jets and played up until the Commanders game where he rolled his ankle and got hurt again. At that point, Herbig came back. Herbig was out throughout all that time. By the time Highsmith was hurt. By the time Highsmith was out.
Okay.
No, I said that wrong. Jesus Christ, my bad.
Go ahead.
Now, Highsmith, by the time Highsmith came back, Herbig was hurt. Then Highsmith got hurt again. Then Herbig finally came back for the Ravens game the next week when Highsmith was out due to injury. There we go. Now I'm back on track. Highsmith would miss the next 3 games while Herbig filled in to start opposite of Watt, of course.
It's very confusing when you're trying to put in game logs of each 3 edge
It
rushers.
is. It's not easy. It's not. But basically, after that, the trio pass rushers, Watt, Highsmith, and Herbig, they didn't get to play together until the second Browns game, the second matchup we had against the Browns, when Highsmith finally came back and the pairing played up until the season came to an end.
So you're telling me that TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Nick Herbig only played together for 8 games last year?
That's all they played together for.
Long story short, TJ Watt played every game last year. Alex Highsmith got hurt 3 weeks in. Herbig came in. He got hurt one game. Jeremiah Moon had to start. Alex Highsmith came back. Herbig wasn't healthy. By the time Alex Highsmith was fully healthy, Herbig wasn't. So they couldn't be the trio, the edge rush duo, or the trio that we envisioned last year because injuries hit us at the edge position. That's why this selection of Jack Sawyer is important, because you never know. We could always suffer the injury bug once again at that position. And frankly, if we ever hit the injury bug that bad again, I'd rather have surefire good depth just in case that Highsmith or Herbig or Watt or whoever, any combination is hurt, and they can start with still having that edge presence at that position, because Highsmith and Watt are obviously the stars and the playmakers there. But they're going to need to be rested for most of the game. They're going to have to come in on situational downs.
And it doesn't help that they're aging at the same time.
Right, and you're going to need Herbig and Sawyer to keep them fresh. That's what this is all about. So this is to ensure greater depth, and you can never be too sure, never be too safe with depth at any area, especially edge. And this is going to make sure that when Highsmith and Watt take a breather, they sit, or God forbid they're injured, knock on wood, you have great depth everywhere along the edge. And Jack Sawyer is a hell of a football player, man. Big playmaker alongside JT for the Buckeyes edge duo last year that helped them win a national championship on a great Ohio State defense.
Yeah, so Sawyer's a guy that just came up in moments where it mattered mostly.
He is a hell of a run defender, and he brings that pass rush, that edge ability. He may not be the greatest athlete, and he might be a little stiff, but I think that's where we could push him interior if we ever wanted to. Very much like what the Steelers did with Melvin Ingram many years ago.
Yeah, you can move him around because he has that build. He's got that big body linebacker build. And his pass rush skills, it's not the finest. It's got some tuning to work on, of course, but I feel like every year, it's gotten better and better, and I do believe that it only will get better.
You're telling me he's going to work with TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, and he's not going to be a better pass rusher?
Oh, he'll be a better pass rusher.
But he's already a great number 4 edge piece that's going to continue to help the run defense. This is another pick that goes to show you the Steelers are emphasizing on fixing the run defense, because we all know how bad the rush defense has been the past couple of years, especially in the playoffs.
Yes.
Especially in the Ravens game.
Yeah, it's poor.
Especially in the Ravens game where we allowed 200.
The Steelers suck.
They did, Rocky. 299 rushing yards versus the Ravens, bro. Damn near 300. Might as well be 300.
It was a poor performance, and the Steelers, man, they made it a goal, and they put so much emphasis throughout this draft to really fix the run defense. They started with Harmon, and then they began it again with a guy like Jack Sawyer.
Jack Sawyer, man.
At that point, arguably was best player available, a guy of his skill set, a guy of his talent and potential, and just what he brings with his mentality and just how he's going to, adapt and just really be welcomed into this atmosphere and the culture. You can't pass up on that.
He's such a Steelers linebacker.
And the way that the Steelers should use their edge rushers in rotations and ideally move them around instead of having them stationary.
Or use them in trios. In any trio you want, it's not going to fail.
And various packages and various rotations, man. I mean, it would be so difficult for offensive lines to really figure out, how the hell are we going to block these guys?
If Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin actually want to get creative and stop being so base and so basic and so uncreative and naked, they could really get back to the Blitzburg mentality. They could really get back to getting to the quarterback. They really can. And that's what the Steelers emphasized with Derrick Harmon and Jack Sawyer. Love the Jack Sawyer pick in the 4th round. I consider it a steal. He's a great football player. He's a great leader. He's a great person, high motor, hardworking, blue-collar individual. I think he's going to fit well in that edge group, and maybe he has a bigger role down the road for him. But immediately on day 1, I think he really, really bolsters that edge area. I think he bolsters the front 7. I think he bolsters the run defense drastically. I think we really needed that.
And you pair Sawyer with Herbig, Watt, and Highsmith with the linebackers and Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, and returning Cole Holcomb with Cam Hayward.
I'm going to
Derrick Harmon and Keanu Benton.
I'm going to throw it back. Remember a couple years ago when we had TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig, and Marcus Golden.
Yes.
I feel like we got back to that with this. Marcus Golden was great. And then that goes to show you, like, 4 edge rushers is very crucial, very critical, especially for the Steelers.
Yeah.
They love to rotate their guys very heavily, especially with Watt and Highsmith aging, and you don't want to risk any injury on those guys because those are 2 big money makers on that defense. And that's where Golden and Herbig, in Herbig's rookie year, came up crazy. And Golden was a great edge piece. And last year, he retired after coming back briefly.
Yeah. It looked like we were going to get a second season of that because that pairing was just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It looked like we were going to get another season of that pairing, and I was excited. And Golden was like, you know what? I'm going to retire. And it's like, oh, shucks. And then we had to run with Jeremiah Moon. He started that Raiders game. I can't tell you one memory of him in that game. I couldn't.
No, me neither.
And it led to the Steelers trading away late capital for Preston Smith.
Right.
And he was a fine depth piece. You know, he did his job. He did well. It was a better fit for him compared to Green Bay when they changed schemes and whatnot. But for his cap space, he was never going to stay at all. So throughout the past number of years, I mean, the Steelers kind of indicated, yeah, the 4th edge piece is very important to us. It matters to us a lot. To the pass rush, to the run defense, to depth purposes.
Right.
And that's what the Steelers continue to tell you and show you with the selection of Jack Sawyer.
Yeah, like they want that 4th edge piece. It's very crucial to them, and I feel like Jack Sawyer was just too good to pass on.
It caught me by surprise, but in a good way. And I love this selection.
Love the selection. I feel like we're getting back to, you know, a strong edge group where, God forbid, anything happens or any rotations we want to run, or if the defense wants to get creative and they want to run any form of trios, maybe they want to rush Watt interior, which should definitely be happening. They want to do Highsmith interior, Nick Herbig interior. They want to have Sawyer blitz as he can play inside too.
Yep.
By all freaking means, if it gets you to the quarterback at any way possible, do it. Riccardi and Cola, do it. I love this pick. Actually, I'm going to put a poll in the chat for you guys. Do you think Jack Sawyer was a necessary pick? Because I see a lot of people saying this wasn't a necessary pick because maybe they didn't view defense as that big of a need. Maybe they didn't view edge that big of a need. I personally wasn't viewing it at the time, but now that I see what the Steelers are doing, I'm thinking, you know what? This makes sense based off of the Steelers' track record with Golden and Preston Smith. Now they got their guy. 2 stud edge depth pieces on rookie contracts, bro. Come on, man. I can't hate it.
Hell yeah, man.
I can't hate it. And the plays he made for Ohio State, he's going to bring that back to the black and gold, man.
And another thing I want to throw out there, you look at the past 3 years of Omar Khan with his 4th-round picks. Nick Herbig, Mason McCormick, and Jack Sawyer.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good trend, in my opinion.
I agree.
I would say so.
You got, the past 3 4th-round picks for the Steelers have been very good value picks. Like, those are just picks like guys that probably shouldn't have fell or guys that are just too rich to pass on, and that's what he did.
And Khan's just like, hey, I'm going to snag it. Like it's a piece of candy, I'm going to snag it.
And that's what he did.
Hell yeah.
Love that, man. Moving on. They didn't stop there, guys. They didn't stop fixing the front 7. They didn't stop depth on the front 7. They didn't stop depth in the defense. They went defense again. We had the 156th pick, but the Steelers said, we're going to trade back. Y'all going to have to wait a little bit. They traded back from 156 to 164. They traded with the Chiefs for 164 and 226. So they wanted to prioritize getting an extra pick later on into the draft to fulfill another need that they wanted, which obviously to move back 8 picks and still get the guy they wanted by all means. And it worked out for the Steelers because with the 164th pick in the 2025 NFL draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select
Yahya Black.
Yahya
Black.
I got to get used to that.
Think of the word Y and then yay.
Yahya Black, defensive tackle out of Iowa. And I do say this, defensive tackle, or should I say nose tackle?
I mean, listen to this bill, guys. 6'6", 336 pounds.
Big dude. Big dude.
Big dude, bulky build, and they double dip at defensive line and schools. Double dip at schools for the first time, I should say, in this draft class.
Yeah, for the first time. It wasn't the only time.
But they double dipped at defensive line, which is something that you and I were talking about. And we're like, you know what? This defensive tackle class is very stacked. It's very good. Could we see the Steelers possibly looking at double dipping at defensive tackle? And we were like, hell yeah, that's something that I'm open to and we would love to see. And that's what they did.
They should definitely do. And if they were going to double dip at defensive line, they needed to get 2 different positional players. They needed a 3 tech, which they got in Derrick Harmon, and they needed a nose to play that 1 and the 0. And they got that with this big body, this big frame, this huge wingspan, long arms, and Yahya Black from Iowa. Love this pick because this is your clogger. This is your plug for the run defense. I know Tomlin said that the nose tackle position is a dying breed and it's falling off, kind of like the fullback position. He's not wrong, but it's very, very, very undervalued and very underappreciated. Look at the Eagles with Jordan Davis, and look how he allows everything else to work. Look how he opens up so many other things for all the other edge rushers and all the other pass rushers on that 3-4 defense of the Eagles. Same thing can be said about Vita Vea, who went in the first round to the Bucs years back. He's a big clogger there, and he allows everyone to roam around in that 3-4 defense for the Bucs.
That's right.
We all know how great of a player Casey Hampton was, how crucial he was. That rushing defense was so good and allowed guys like Kiesel and Harrison and Woodley and everyone else, especially when we used to blitz with Dick LeBeau, to get to the quarterback. A nose tackle is incredibly underappreciated, and I'm glad the Steelers went after one of the biggest frame guys they could at the position. Right here in the 5th round at 164. This is a pure run defender. He's got a little pass rush upside, but he's not someone that you're going to bring in on pass rush or on passing downs. We got another one. Mystic Gaming with a $4.99 says, I am extremely pleased we got guys who are going to help the run defense, and with guys like Sawyer and Howard, winners, and guys who play hard as fuck. I agree.
Damn straight.
Couldn't agree more. And you're right, winners. Winners. I will get into that shortly, but I couldn't agree more, man. Winners. You notice we got a lot of national championship pedigree in this locker room.
A lot of Big Ten players, really.
Yeah, we went very Big Ten heavy in this draft class for sure.
Good. Good. That's something that they should have done. That's something that, they decided to do. They took that path and they got a good haul.
I agree. I really agree, especially with Yahya Black here. Again, he's not going to be in for passing downs. He's not going to show off a lot of his pass rush upside. He's going to be there on rundowns and short situation spots where he's there to do one job. Stop the center, stop the guard, make sure they don't move, clog the hole, allow all the other guys like Harmon, Hayward, Benton, the linebackers, Wilson, Queen to roam free. That's why they needed to prioritize defensive line. That's why they needed 2 different positional guys on the defensive line. And that's why they needed to bring in new faces there, as well as improving depth, because Loudermilk has not been cutting it. Liao, he might move to edge maybe, but it doesn't look too good for his Steeler career. He just, wasn't cutting it, and unfortunately got hurt last year.
His durability just hasn't been holding up.
Dean Lowry, I don't think he's going to be here too much longer. Who else? Montravius Adams has been good, but his days might be numbered.
And he's only getting older as well, and that's what the Steelers need to do. They needed to put emphasis, and they really need to look at adding more depth and get younger at the depth and changing the depth, freshening up the depth at defensive line, because it's been nothing but a revolving door of the same old the past number of years. I stated earlier, if you run with that every year, it's just going to lead to the same result. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to be done. The Steelers, they gave him opportunity after opportunity to try to see if Liao could hold up with his durability, see if he could use his versatility, see if any other guys would develop and stick out, like Isaiah Loudermilk. He hasn't really taken that next step. A lot of these guys have just not really done anything with their development. It's just nothing but the same old every year. So they had to freshen up. They had to change the depth. They had to get depth. They had to improve the depth.
They did, and I'm glad they double dipped at the D line. They got certain guys that can play certain roles. I can honestly say that the run defense, from the roster aspect and who they added, I feel more confident in this run defense than I did heading into that playoff game. For sure. They really improved in a lot of areas, and I feel like adding as many bodies and double dipping there and bringing in some of these players will allow a lot of other guys along the front 7 to just work and play and make plays. Guys like Watt, guys like Highsmith, and of course Queen and Wilson. I think it's going to benefit so much along that, where, maybe we can get to the quarterback more often. We can stop the run, and these linebackers can just do what they got to do. And that's one of the biggest things about linebacker play for us the past number of years. I'm very happy with the room we've had, but you also notice with the defensive line And what they weren't able to do, they weren't able to get pressure. They weren't able to stop the run. It just allowed the linebackers to get bullied in the second level. And frankly, it didn't help the secondary either, because the quarterback could sit there all day, and the secondary didn't have no help. They had one single high safety. The corners aren't good cover corners. It just didn't help altogether. That's why they need to build more bodies. They need to build more faces to that defensive line group. I think overall, in the long term, it's going to help everyone on the defense.
Yeah.
Because once it starts there, everybody above starts benefiting.
Yeah. They had to improve the depth. They had to improve the run defense. They had to improve at getting younger at the defensive line. And that's what they did. That's what they looked. That's what they seeked. That's what they did.
Yes.
I look forward to seeing what, again, not only what Harmon can do, but even a Yahya Black, see what he can do in rotations, probably put him in for some early down situations as he can plug the middle. And he's a guy that also, when he wraps his arms around the ball carrier, I mean, the ball carrier ain't going anywhere.
No, good
because
luck.
of his sheer size.
His size, his strength, he's a bully. He's a bully in that middle. And I like it because, one, we double dip at Iowa, and it reunites him with Logan Lee. Logan Lee's going to be getting his first bit of action this year as long as he stays healthy.
That's right.
I think that chemistry and bringing him in, I think that's going to be good for him as well. Love to see that, especially on that defensive line. I'm a little more accepting. I'm a little more happy with the depth in that area because of those reasons.
Yeah, and it makes it younger, fresher, bigger, badder, and stronger.
And that was the point of the draft this year that I think people need to realize is fixing depth in certain areas with a lot of young studs on rookie contracts. That way they can go after a quarterback next year, and they can go offensive heavy next year if they have to. I think that was the point. That's why this isn't the sexiest draft. This isn't the prettiest, most attractive draft class you'll see. But I think that was the point, is locking down certain areas on the defense in a lot of depth capacities this year.
And not just that, but solely focusing on the trenches, because that is Omar Khan and Andy Weidl's idea. That's their mission. That's their goal. That's what they want to do. Andy Weidl took that from Philadelphia. He brought it over to Pittsburgh. He showed Omar Khan. Omar Khan's like, hell yeah, let's do it.
And that's now 9 trench players in Omar Khan's 3 years as GM. In his first year was Broderick Jones, and it was not Zach Frazier. It was Broderick Jones, and it was Keanu Benton. Last year, it was
Fatanu, Zach Frazier, Mason McCormick,
and Logan Lee. This year, it was Derrick Harmon and Yahya Black.
Yes.
I might have my math wrong. I think that's what. Did I say what? I said 9?
Yeah, but you get the point. Nonetheless, you get the point. The fact of the matter is they're building the foundation. They're building the trenches. They're making the wall. They're making it stronger. You got to have a strong trench, because that's what matters. I mean, as if the Super Bowl wasn't enough to show you between the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Right.
That played a huge component. It's a huge factor in today's game of football, and football in general. And that's the Steelers' idea. They have a method. They have an idea, and I'm all for that. I'm on their side about that.
Actually, my math might be correct. I forgot Spencer Anderson.
Of course, that's right.
In 2023.
That's
so,
right.
To recap, Broderick Jones, Keanu Benton, Spencer Anderson in 2023. Last year was Troy Futanu, Zach Frazier, Mason McCormick, Logan Lee. This year, Derrick Harmon, and, of course, Yahya Black. So, yeah, my math is correct. 9 trench players in his first 3 years as GM, bro.
That's their philosophy, man.
A lot of them are on rookie contracts, and that's the point. It's all a patient game. I trust that process. It's all a patient game. Moving on, the 6th round. We didn't take a quarterback yet. We're like, okay, it has to be a quarterback now. He's on the board. There's no way they pass on him again, right? They can't be pushing back quarterbacks so far. Indeed, they did not. This might be one of my more favorite picks of this entire draft class.
That's right, brother. So with the 185th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Will Howard, quarterback out of the Ohio State.
This was probably the only quarterback we really wanted in this draft class. No one else blew me away. I'm not saying Will Howard blows me away, but for his role and where we selected him, or where I thought we were going to select him, and where we ultimately selected him, it makes me even happier that we took him where we got him. He doesn't blow me away, but for what he's going to be, how he's going to be for the future, that's the only quarterback I really wanted. There was only a couple guys that really enthused me. Howard was at the top of that list this year based off of what he's going to be, what his ceiling can be, and what the Steelers needed for this year and for the future at the quarterback position, which is a very good, trusted, quality backup. That's
Yes.
what they got in Will Howard.
Yeah, because Howard, I don't believe he is a franchise guy. I don't. I mean, you're not going to put all your eggs in one basket on the 6th rounder. That's just a little ridiculous if you're the Steelers or any team of that matter. But there is a lot to like about his game, even for his capabilities as a backup. With how he plays, his ideal size, a Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback size, 6'4", 236 pounds. He's pretty young at 23 years old. He's got a good enough arm to make all the throws you need him to make, the short passes, the intermediate passes, the sideline passes, the deep passes. He's got a pretty deep ball for his size. He's very athletic, and he's got very good mobility. I feel like his mobility is an underrated component of his game. He showed that many times over at Kansas State and even Ohio State.
Right.
He showcased that a lot, and just his mentality and just what he brings to the table. I said it earlier in the stream that his determination, his goal, his mentality is to always prove that he belongs and to always push himself to be better, to be the best guy he can be for his team.
That's a natural competitor. That's what we need in the locker room. That's what we need at the quarterback position. We need that competitor. We need that chip on his shoulder. We need that leader. Who does that remind me of? Mason, in a way. He's just obviously a lot more athletic. He's a lot more mobile, which is a good thing at the quarterback position, especially in our scheme. I'm not saying Arthur Smith is going to run no Justin Field packages with Will Howard, but if he ever has to step in, then, you know, I think he can be a very, very good backup quarterback in this league. I'm not saying he's going to be the future. Maybe they give him the opportunity. I don't hate that. When that is, could it be this year? Will it ever happen? Lord knows.
But he did say, I do want to say this, he did say that all I need is a chance.
Yes.
He wants to prove himself. He wants to show, hey, you know, like, I can be a guy for you.
Well, that's why
You can lean on
That's
me.
why he transferred to the Ohio State. And yes, he had immense talent there. I get it. But what he did with that talent was very, very good.
Especially in that playoff push in the 4 games in the playoff run.
He was one of the biggest MVPs for the Buckeyes in the playoffs.
He
man.
threw over 1,000 yards, I think over 1,100 yards actually within that 4-game span. 8 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. He played superb football.
Sure did. And his mobility, his poise in the pocket, the way he stands strong, he's willing to take a hit and still nail a throw to his receiver. He gives his receiver chances. I do like that. I like his presence there in the pocket. Also be able to roll out and throw on the run. I think he's got great accuracy. He's got a very pretty deep ball. He may not have the greatest arm in the world. He may not have the greatest arm strength in the world, but I feel like, you know, he can make the throws all over the field, any throw necessary. I really like Will Howard so much that I was willing to take him in the 4th. That's where I thought he would have went.
So did I. I could have sworn that he was going to go sooner.
And
For
he
some
didn't.
reason, he didn't. I don't know why. Maybe it's just due to the fact that quarterbacks didn't need, or teams didn't need a quarterback.
There weren't too many quarterback needy teams. But
Maybe that was the case.
Will Howard to come in and be the 2 or 3 this year, maybe the 1. We don't know how the season's going to go. It's going to be a fun, interesting circus ride. I really can't wait for it. I don't know what to expect, but all I know is whatever happens, I'm going to enjoy whatever good comes out of it. Could he be a starter at some point this year? Lord knows. But one thing I like about him is the pedigree, the leadership that he enables in his team. Not just what he inhabits himself, what he enables in his team. Man, he holds players accountable. He always motivates his players. He rallies a team. He's a locker room guy. If you notice a lot of his film in the locker room and what he does behind the scenes, the way he's able to rally the troops for game day and, you know, during the game, halftime, you know, even what you saw when Jack Sawyer, Steeler, by the way, ran that ball all the way for a touchdown versus Texas. What he did on the sideline, that's the guy I want to represent the Steelers shield. That's the guy I want to represent the Steelers logo. The fact that we got both guys, dude, I can't be more happy as a Steelers fan.
Yeah, they double dip in schools for a second time. They literally went from Iowa to Ohio State, Iowa to Ohio State in that pattern.
Yeah.
And they got a hell of a player in Will Howard. And Will Howard, I mean, he just seems ecstatic to be a Steeler. He actually made this quote right here. He said, 100% the right team picked me. And coming into this process, I was hoping the Steelers would take me.
Oh, I was hoping too, Will. We both got our
I
wish.
could not be any more happy that Will Howard is a part of the Steeler family.
And Jay, yes, I did see his Gruden camp. I did.
Yes.
And that made me want him even more as a pick for the Steelers, man, as the future backup, man. I don't know what happens with Aaron Rodgers. I'm expecting him to sign at some point.
I feel like it's only a matter of time. I think Art Rooney even said on Steeler Nation Radio that, the Steelers feel good. They feel good about A-Rod coming, or A-Rod even said that he's willing to come here. They're just waiting on them to actually tell him and whatnot.
Right.
So it's only a matter of time. I mean, that's bound to happen. It's got to be. Considering that they waited till the 6th round to take a quarterback in Will Howard, I mean, I think that goes to tell you that they're pretty confident that A-Rod's coming to town.
Yeah, and let's say Aaron Rodgers does come to town. He's a starter all season. Well, then you're looking at Aaron Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, and Will Howard as your 1, 2, and 3. Howard can sit a year if he has to, or if he has to be an emergency quarterback. I think he's very well trusted. I think he can be a very well trusted backup. I think he's going to be a great backup for years to come. And if he ever shows enough for the Steelers to give him a shot, listen, I'm not going to roll it out. I'm also not expecting it with him being a 6th-round pick, but he's got that tendency to him where he pushes himself. He has that confidence. That's what you want in the quarterback room. That's why I see a lot of Mason tendencies with him.
Yeah.
So I love Will Howard being the selection here in the 6th round.
And in the 6th round, if anything, if he's just a very good backup for this team, that's still great value. That's still a very good selection. In the 6th round,
dude,
you can't beat it.
No, I didn't think they'd push quarterback this far, but the fact they were still able to get their guy, crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
They took him out for a pro day dinner. They sent the house to the Ohio State pro day, and they still got someone they wanted. Will Howard is the quarterback selected this year. You knew they were going to select one. We just didn't know where. I couldn't imagine it was going to be this late, but I still got the guy I wanted. Still got my preference quarterback for this year based off of how stupidly weak the class is. So I'm very pleased with Will Howard being the selection here. I think he's going to be a great role player for the Steelers in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I think he's your future backup. And again, maybe he pushes himself to make a run. When that is, I don't know. But as of right now, I see him being a very trusted backup, a very good quarterback, someone that's going to work on the sidelines and rally the troops. Stuff behind the scenes is something that is very underrated about his character and his game, is what he does when he's not on the field.
Big time.
That's what they're also adding to this football team, is that type of character. I love that about Will Howard. That's something I could say about Will Howard that I can't say about, many quarterbacks that we've had in recent years. So, Will Howard, I'm very enthused with this selection, man. I'm very enthused with this. We'll see what he brings to the table. We'll see what he does in training camp. We'll see what he does in preseason. Maybe he's actually gifted that chance. Maybe he's gifted that opportunity. I don't know.
If he is, we'll see how far he can roll with it. We'll see what he can bring to the table.
Yes. But Will Howard was the only quarterback that really spoke to me this year, because I think I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the draft, because I think Cam Ward is that. But in terms of the Steelers and what people wanted them to do and the hole at quarterback, I wanted them to just settle for who I think might be one of the better quarterbacks for a backup role, Will Howard, rather than reach on a guy that's not going to elevate the team, a guy that's not going to be a franchise guy. And that's exactly what Steelers did.
Yeah.
I'm glad they went that way. I'm glad they went that direction.
But regardless, I think Will Howard is a perfect fit for the Steelers. For his style, for his mentality, for the atmosphere. Great fit.
Now we get into the 7th round. This is where it gets a little interesting, because I didn't know where they were going to go. This could have went anywhere. I was thinking receiver, corner.
And keep in mind, I mean, it's the 7th round. It's nothing but depth guys, special teams guys. Guys are going to be clawing and fighting for a roster spot. So it's really nothing mind-blowing and whatnot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's not mind-blowing, especially with these selections. 226. They got this from Kansas City when they trade back. And they go another linebacker, folks. They go defense once again. In fact, both these 7th rounders are defensive depth. More so camp bodies, guys that could see an increased role depending on their development, or Lord knows what happens at their positions. With the 226th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Carson Bruener, linebacker, Washington. If that last name rings a bell, it's because he is the son of former Steelers first-round pick from 1995,
30 years ago,
Mark Bruener, who's also a Steelers scout. We just can't have we can't have a Steelers draft without somebody being taken because of the bloodlines.
That's only a matter of time until Dino Tomlin's a Steeler, right?
Is he a Steeler?
No, he's not.
Chad, is he a Steeler yet?
No.
Because he's eligible. He obviously wasn't selected.
He's eligible.
Dino Tomlin, we'll see you in Latrobe.
Yeah, we'll see, right? We'll see. But Carson Bruener, linebacker out of Washington. I was actually caught by surprise by the selection because I didn't think that they would actually look at linebacker. I didn't think they really take a linebacker, but after thinking a little bit more about it and considering it a bit more, I don't mind it. I don't mind the selection of Bruener because, he brings a level of intrigue to the game, specifically from a special teams purpose.
Yes.
He guy's a special teams gunner. He has a lot of experience at that over at Washington. He's a guy that could also come in and compete and challenge a guy like Mark Robinson, who I believe is coming to his final year of his rookie contract.
Yes.
And Mark Robinson, he's seen minimal development. He's seen minimal growth. He's primarily been a special teams guy, but he is also somebody that is kind of on the chopping board when it comes to making this roster, especially with the addition and the signing of Malik Harrison in free agency.
Yeah, this is just more of like camp bodies. I actually totally forgot we signed Malik Harrison.
Yeah.
I totally forgot he was even part of this room.
Yes,
now
that's
that
right.
you said that, I totally forgot.
Yes.
Yeah, this is more of just like a camp body, someone to compete with Mark Robinson. Maybe they stash on the practice squad, but I wouldn't sleep on this guy as a special teams player. Maybe he works his way up as the next rotational guy with Queen, with Wilson. I don't know if that's his ceiling. He's a little undersized, but he does bring some speed. He brings a lot of instincts and focus when it comes to the line of scrimmage, especially as a downhill guy, as a linebacker. I see him more so as like a faster, more athletic Tyler Matakavage.
Yeah, he's a little bit smaller than Cabbage. Same height. He's a little bit slimmer as far as weight goes, but he's a lot more faster. I think he ran a 4.58 40 at the combine. He's a lot more faster. He brings good speed to the linebacker play in the linebacker room. He brings good hustle. He brings a good mentality, a good attitude and whatnot. That's what you want.
And of course, the bloodlines.
And speaking of which, it was actually a full circle moment. This is actually pretty cool. When he got the call from the Steelers, he was actually selected at the very same cabin on the very same couch as his father was.
Oh, wow.
30 years ago.
If you're not down with that,
Oh, I'm down with that.
Perfect timing.
Icy Roads, you got perfect timing, my boy. With a 2, he says, I'm still scared of the cornerback room other than that A. That A?
You mean A? Is that your grade?
Either way, I agree. Despite our last pick, the 229th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Donte Kent, cornerback out of Central Michigan. Speedy, slot guy, tons of starting experience, tons of pass breakups.
Yeah, 4-year starter and a former team captain for Central Michigan with 47 career pass breakups.
But also allows a lot of explosive plays.
Yes.
And he does have returns capabilities as well, which I don't know if he'll have a role there because Mike Tomlin hates corners being return specialists. He hates it.
Yeah, it's not his ideal method. It's not his ideal way to go.
I remember he tried it with Cam Sutton when he was drafted, and he muffed a punt in preseason. That was the last time we saw Sutton back there.
Yep.
I think he did it with Desmond King when we had him a short period of time, and that didn't last long.
No, it did not.
He doesn't like corners back there playing punt returner. So
If anything, he could be a special teams gunner. That probably will be his home most likely, in my opinion.
he's got some crazy speed for that role, though, to be that gunner for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe this is like that new James Pierce special teams replacement. Maybe this is James Pierce special teams competition.
I mean, Pierre could use some competition. I don't care about his experience with the team and whatnot. Pierre has just not really turned out as a good rotational cornerback. Special teams, he's fine, but he does need some competition.
I mean, Danny Smith said that this is just for special teams. Maybe they give him a shot in the slot. I think there's too many bodies ahead of him, but
he's got a slot build, 5'10", 189. He has experience playing outside. I think in 2022, he played nearly 100% of his snaps outside, but he played a lot more slot reps and played more in the slot in general the past 2 years. But he brings that in and out versatility, but I wouldn't expect him to really see much field time in rotations at cornerback, just a special teams guy, just see if he could really get his feet wet, plant his feet down there, and just find a home in special teams.
Oh, Ice Roads, I got you. He said A+. Well, there you go. Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, this is the 7th round we're talking about. I mean, they wanted to trade back and get another 7th, and they did for certain positions. Maybe they wanted to add extra bodies. Maybe they wanted to fill the practice squad for whatever with guys that they really like for the future.
Yeah, they couldn't forget about Danny Smith.
Exactly. This is the 7th round we're talking about. I mean, we're not going to get no superstars. It's very rare you're going to get a bona fide steal, but it's just camp bodies, role players. We'll see what they can bring to the table. I hope they get the opportunity. They will get the opportunity. We'll see what they can make out of it.
Big time.
But it just back ends the draft. It ends the draft, and it adds more to the defense that they wanted to emphasize. So again, not the sexiest draft class, not the prettiest, not the most attractive. But I don't think it was ever supposed to be the sexiest draft class. It just wasn't the year to do it. With the needs, with how weak the quarterback position was, with how they traded for DK, it was never supposed to be the sexiest quarterback or the sexiest draft class. So overall, and based on what they did and what they fixed and what I think they're trying to do, I'm very pleased with this draft class. We'll see what these guys can do. I'm very excited for their Steelers' careers. I mean, Omar Khan, I got to say, his past 2 draft classes, it's going to take some time, but the value and the talent that he brought in was great. And I can say the same thing with this same draft class based off of where he got his guys and what their roles are going to be and how he's really trying to stack a lot of positions for the future. And I can't be upset with that as a Steelers fan. So I don't know how you guys feel about this draft class. I feel pretty good. I feel very great about this draft class. I think it's got potential, especially with the defensive line, with how they're trying to stop the run and getting a great running back in Kaleb Johnson. But I think that was the one thing that they wanted to do, or two of the things they wanted to do in going into the offseason and the draft. They wanted to, one, add playmakers on the offense, and they did with DK and Kaleb Johnson. And 2, they wanted to stop the run. They wanted to stack the front 7 and stop the run because that performance against the Ravens was horrid. And they don't ever want to experience that ever again.
No. I don't think any of us fans want to experience that ever again.
No, it was expected from me personally, but it still wasn't fun to watch.
No.
They're trying to eliminate that. They're trying to stop the run. They're trying to prevent that from ever happening again. And I can honestly say that compared to that game, I think that they've improved in a lot of ways with the players they added, with the depth areas. I think they improved that. We'll see if that actually becomes true come the NFL season. But for the future, I do see his vision on what he's trying to do. And I got to trust Omar Khan in his process. That's completely different from coaching.
If you're not down with that,
But based on Omar Khan,
we've got 2 words for you.
Steely with a 199. He says, ready to start scouting the 2026 quarterbacks.
yes, 100%, because clearly we're getting our quarterback next year. And that's the one thing I'm glad they didn't do this year, is they didn't reach on a guy, because I don't think anyone available in free agency in the draft was going to elevate us where we needed to.
No.
So they are taking a year. I'm not saying they're taking a down year, because they're still trying to get Aaron Rodgers. Not that that's going to make us any better, because I don't think it does, but that's what the Steelers want to do. They are taking a year to build everything, to build the trenches, and build a lot of areas, especially on that defense, based off this draft class. That way they can go after who they need to go after next year, live in Pittsburgh.
Yep, that's right. The NFL draft will be in the city of Pittsburgh next year. You know damn well that me and Dan will be going.
Absolutely.
Come hell or high water. We will be there. I look forward to that. And, I mean, you can't write it any better for the potential franchise, the potential future at the quarterback position to be selected.
And is it a lot of pressure? Maybe.
In the city of Pittsburgh.
Might be a lot of pressure for that guy, but, hopefully, just like how Ben was, maybe the pressure won't be too much for him.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see in a year's time.
But overall, from this draft class, yes, I'm pleased with it. I feel pretty good about it. Let us know how you guys feel in the live chat. And all we have to wait on now is the word of a 41-year-old quarterback.
Yes, we do.
Wow. Actually, chat, let me know. Do you guys still want Aaron Rodgers? In fact, I'll make that the new poll.
Yeah, make that the poll, yes.
I'll make that the new poll for you guys. Do you guys want Aaron Rodgers? Because I don't. I would much rather run with Mason and Howard.
I'd rather just run with Mason. I mean, if you want to put Will Howard in there, you want to give him the opportunity, by all means. But I'd rather run with Mason.
Sterling in the chat says, as of now, I'm on Lenoris Sellers from North Carolina for now. I see a lot of his name being floated around, and I've seen some film, and I do like what I see. I'm hoping that he can really progress a lot in this upcoming college season. This college season is going to be an intense watch for us Steelers fans, because one of these guys is going to be a Steeler. That's inevitable. We're taking a quarterback next year in the first round.
No doubt.
I don't know what pick. I don't know what overall, but we're getting one of those guys. So intensively watch. I can't wait. I really can't wait for the football season in general, man. I see a lot of you guys saying no. I see no. I don't want Aaron. Hell no to AA Ron. Rodgers will sign with ESPN. He can. For $10 million, I'd choose Aaron. Well, I think he said he'd take as little as 8. There's no concern with overpaying Aaron Rodgers because he said the money's not the issue.
We'll see when the contract details come out when he eventually signs.
I don't care how old he is. I just don't think he does anything for us.
No.
To be honest, hell no. Aaron Rodgers is a prima donna of a man. He is. He's a man-child. Mason a bum, too. I mean,
Hey, that's my quarterback.
that is my quarterback. Where's my jersey?
He's right behind you.
Listen, bro. Listen.
That jersey right behind you.
Until something happens, I'm repping my guy. This is my quarterback. This is my guy. If y'all got a problem with it, come see me. Come see me. This is my quarterback this year. Mason flipping Rudolph. I'd much rather ride with Mason and Will Howard and see what we got. Almost treated like 2019. Oh, I'm down with that.
We've got 2 words for
Ben, you remember 2019. That was a fun year. Liam L with a 999 says, we're cooked. Let's just face it. I'll talk once we win a playoff game. I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah,
No,
we got to wait on that.
Listen, I like this draft class. I'm still not having crazy expectations for this year. And I think,
If you're not down with that,
I'm down with that too.
we've got 2 words for
Mr. Gaming with a 199 says, I want Haynes King in 2026. Dude is a warrior. There's going to be some names, man. There's going to be some names. I do like next year's class a lot better than I did this year's. I think there's more depth there. I think there's going to be more serious names there. I think there's more potential there for sure. Rudolph is my guy since my other guy, Shedeur. Well, yeah, your other guy is with Cleveland. Why does Cleveland always do that, by the way, bro? Anytime someone falls or anytime something goes wrong, Cleveland's always got to be the one to clean up the sympathy
Because
train.
it's a typical Cleveland Browns move. They go with the Hollywood story and they try to go with the guy, like there could be something. Let's just try this experiment, like this could be the guy. Let's just try out these quarterbacks. See if one sticks out, then neither stick out.
No.
Best of luck, Browns.
Miss Pittsburgh, yes, we did draft a quarterback today. His name is Will Howard. Will Howard from the Ohio State. Also, I do want to mention about Will Howard being selected. You also noticed the past couple draft classes, the Steelers have brought in a lot of national championship pedigree. A lot of
Yes.
national championship winners. George Pickens, Georgia. Darnell Washington, Georgia. Broderick Jones, Georgia.
If you're not down with that,
I'm down with that.
we've got 2 words for you.
I.C. Rhodes with a 5. Why does Cleveland have 5 quarterbacks, one of which is Kenny? Man is never going to be a starter. He shouldn't. He sucks. He's garbage.
Yeah, we know from experience.
He's garbage.
Not great.
Not great, but yeah. George Pickens, Darnell Washington, Broderick Jones, Roman Wilson, Mason McCormick. Now Jack Sawyer and Will Howard.
That's a lot of championship pedigree right there.
I like that. I like what he's trying to build in the locker room, man. We're trying to get, some of that built up.
We gotta get back to that. We gotta get back to that mentality. We gotta get back to all that, man.
And I can say that a majority of those, I'm not going to say all, I can say a majority of those is, they got leadership qualities to them, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But Omar Khan, his 3rd draft is in the books. The 2025 NFL draft is in the books. No more mock drafts. No more speculation. No more wait. It's all over. It's a little bittersweet, too, because, man, I love this time of year. I love the draft process. It's full of speculation. It's full of just, hypothetically thinking. But now it's over. And we won't get back to it until next season, next offseason.
That's right.
I mean, realistically, it really does start come the college season once all that kicks off, because 1, that kicks off the football season, and 2, again, a lot of us Steelers fans are going to be intensively watching to see how the quarterbacks do, because that's going to determine our future. One of those guys could be our future. I can't wait for it, man. And I can't wait for next year. Next time the NFL draft will be live. The next time any team will be on the clock, we will be in Pittsburgh. Pennsylvania next year. I can't flip and wait.
Yes, sir, brother.
I can't wait. It's a once in a lifetime experience. We got to be there and to see who we're going to select next year. We going to be there. I don't know how many of y'all going to be there, but we going to be there. I already got to get ahead and start thinking and start planning. Planning like a hotel or Airbnb or something. Appreciate you guys tuning in, man. We got 551 Ians in here. Can we get 200 likes?
If you're not down with that,
Yo, I swear the
we've
timing
got
on that.
2 words for you.
Joey Wheeler with a 199 says, I'll be there, boys. Well, we'll see you there, Joey.
Hell yeah, Joey.
Jay the Mexican says, I live in Green Bay. Did you go to the draft? Did you go to the draft? I can only imagine how
If you're
traffic
not
is over
down
there.
with that, we've got 2 words for
Liam
you.
L with a 499 says, been watching for 4 years, love the channel, always throw on post game to sleep. But man, what are the Steelers doing, Mr. Realers? I get it.
I hear you, Liam.
I've been asking them what they've been doing on the field for so many years. I want to trust the process. I'm going to trust Omar Khan. I don't trust coaching.
I trust the front office
I-
outside of Art Rooney.
Yeah, I don't trust coaching to use them properly, but I trust the front office and what they're trying to build.
It's
It's going to take more patience.
yes, it is. It's a patient thing, and I'm willing to be patient. I just hope that this patience is well worth it. You know what I mean?
He says it was so fun. I got a signed helmet. Who signed it? Or did you buy a signed helmet?
Kenny will demand a trade. Yep. Breaking news: Kenny Pickett has demanded a trade. I'm kidding.
Oh, for a second I thought you were going to say again.
No, Danny Boy's joking.
Sorry, I got flashbacks. I'm like, oh no.
No,
I'm like,
that would've been funny. Like, wow, you took 2 quarterbacks. Yeah, I don't want to be here no more.
Shiloh Shedeur's
I
brother.
don't think he even wants to be there.
Shiloh went to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, Shiloh signed with the Buccaneers as an undrafted free agent.
Oh yeah, let's get into the undrafted free agents. Is there a list anywhere?
Yes, I actually wrote down the names here. And the first one that they signed off.
Has there been any new breaking
No,
ones?
I was looking. I have not seen any new ones as of yet. But they did sign a handful already. They already signed 6.
Oh.
And we're going to start off with another Iowa cat, another Iowa player, and Sebastian Castro, safety out of Iowa.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I mean, let's just bring in all the Iowa.
Yeah, why not? I mean, they're already repping the colors.
Bring in all the Iowa Hawkeyes.
I swear
bro.
to God, you don't even have to put the uniform on. I mean, you're already repping the colors.
They already look good in the black and gold, man. You might as well all you got to do is change the helmet. That's all you got to do.
So we're looking at Logan Lee last year. We're looking at Kaleb Johnson. We're looking at Yahya Black. And we're looking at Sebastian Castro.
Castro, I don't know why he went undrafted, man. I think he's very, very impressive in the run game. I think he is got great instincts, good high Q, good against or good in the slot. He can also play safety, but he's more of that slot guy. He's not the fastest defender, which is probably why in the slot's probably best for him. But I think if they give him a real opportunity, he could be someone that could rise himself up to make the roster.
Yeah, very good rotational guy, a good depth piece, but most importantly, a special teams guy. I think Castro, he's got the opportunity. He's got the possibility to really make the roster.
Now,
One of them sleepers.
Oh, got another one.
We've got 2 words for you.
BSG74 with a 499 says, thank you for your coverage of the draft. They don't watch any of the national sports channels, just watch you guys. Man, we appreciate that.
Thank you, man.
We tried to be as consistent as possible. We tried to flesh out as much as possible. So we appreciate you guys for sticking around, man. Today was crazy busy. I'm sure y'all saw the notifications or whatever. We were posting reactions of the Steelers selections from the 4th, 5th, and 6th round.
Yep.
By the time I got to the 7th round, I'm like, it's the 7th round. Let's just make the thumbnail, set up the stream, go upstairs, get a bite to eat, and come back down and do this. It's been a long day. In fact, I'll be real with y'all. I didn't go to bed till 5 o'clock last night.
What?
I couldn't sleep.
For what reason? Why?
Maybe it's because I had 2 energy drinks to keep me up all night.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that'll do
didn't
that
do
to
well.
you. That'll do that to you. As
Didn't do
soon
me
as
well.
I put my head on the bed, I was out. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I'm jealous. I couldn't sleep. I was tossing and turning for 4 hours.
At least you got to sleep eventually.
And I got some sleep. But it's been a crazy day. It's been a crazy day. 5 selections the Steelers made. So it's a busy day. But yeah, we always appreciate you guys tuning in. We always appreciate
Of
you guys
course.
giving out feedback. And yeah, like Rob stated not too long ago, we hit 20K. What day was it? Friday, I think.
Yeah,
Saturday.
Friday. We actually just reached over 20,100.
Wow, man.
over the past 24 hours.
I'm incredibly humbled, incredibly thankful. We both are, especially after last night when we were live trying to make or trying to see what the pick would be.
Yeah,
at 83.
getting ready for the 83rd pick, and then the stream crashed. The initial stream crashed.
Right as we're about to make, as they're about to make the pick.
Talk about terrible timing.
But we hopped on as soon as we can, and y'all still flooded the chat. So again, always much appreciated.
Your support means a lot, guys.
It does. It really does, man.
Every time. We can't stress it enough. We can't thank you guys enough. And we're down with that, Ben.
Let's see. Liam L with a 499 says, no negativity, just curious. When do you honestly think the Steelers can win a bowl again? It's a pain to watch every year, man. Copy and paste. I feel you. Liam, I feel you. It has been copy and paste. I feel like every year since 2018.
It's nothing but the same movie.
2017. 2020, no, yeah, since 2017 or 2016. One of the two. When was our last playoff win? 2016?
2016, the Chiefs game. Boswell got us the points.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has been copy and paste. I can tell you right now, I don't think it happens with Mike Tomlin.
I feel like as soon as Tomlin goes, then hopefully, fingers crossed, there could be something.
But when does that happen, and who do we get to replace him? I don't know. So I can't give you a time. I'm hoping within maybe the next 10, 15 years. I don't know.
I don't know, man. I can't tell you.
I don't know. I have no clue. But I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later, obviously. I mean, I experienced the Super Bowl win as a kid with 43. I've yet to experience one as an adult and get shit-faced for it. So I am waiting for that day. Swear jar.
Yes, sir, man.
I am waiting for that day. But maybe that's what Omar Khan's doing. Maybe he's building this roster, building it so young, fixing the trenches.
He wants to get to it.
When he gets his guy, when he ever drafts his guy, preferably next year, probably next year, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
If you're not down with that, we've got 2 words for you.
Silly with a 499 says, even with low expectations, the offense is gonna piss you off this year. Bank it. Oh, I already know.
And listen, I look forward to it.
I'm gonna get that Fire Smith sign prepped. Don't worry. Which it's not gonna happen, by the way.
No, but we got signs on deck. We got them ready.
Browns could have had Hunter and Sanders, just dumb. Yeah, I don't know why they traded back from 2. And I don't know why they took Dylan Gabriel over Sanders if they were just gonna take Sanders. Did y'all see the live feed of when they selected Sanders? They didn't look happy. Andrew Berry didn't look happy. He had this blank look on his face like, yeah, I don't want to do this. But he called. Dion called. I just, I had to.
I wasn't surprised me at Deion. Like, draft my freaking son.
They did not look enthused. That's all I'll say. I don't know what the Browns are doing. I hate that they got Graham. I hate that they got Judkins. I really do.
Yeah, they also drafted Sampson.
Really?
Dylan Sampson, yeah.
What?
I believe they did, yes.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, they're trying to get a running back tandem going.
But yeah, I think a lot of teams have really good draft classes this year. The Patriots especially. I thought the Cardinals had a very good draft class. A lot of teams, man. A lot of teams are on the up and up for sure.
Yes, they are.
I trust Khan's process, but Tomlin had a hand or two on some of the picks, unfortunately. He did. He has to. 20 years with the damn team, he's going to. Liam with a 1999 says, here we go. Appreciate you as always, my guy.
Thank you.
They said Will Howard has all the qualities, but keep him as just an NFL backup. I didn't say he had all the qualities.
Where do we say that?
I don't think he has elite tendencies. I just think he's going to be a very good backup. He might ultimately be a career backup, but, I mean, if that's his ceiling for a 6th rounder, I think we got a good backup quarterback. Can he be someone that could elevate himself to be a starter? Sure. I don't see that with a 6th round pick. I don't see that with many quarterbacks this year.
It's really hard to put your eggs in one basket on a 6th rounder.
Will Dino Tomlin make the team? He hasn't yet?
No. And I hope he doesn't.
He hasn't?
No.
He hasn't been signed yet.
Well, exactly what kind of resume, no offense to Dino Tomlin, what resume has he put out there for him to be signed for?
Well, what other undrafted free agents are there, Rob?
Well, getting back to it, actually, we have signed a undrafted free agent wide receiver by the name of Rock Taylor from Memphis.
Great name.
And this is a big-bodied wide receiver out of Memphis, dude. I mean, he's what, 6'2", 216 some odd pounds, something around that range. And he's a pretty speedy back. He ran a 4.49 at the combine. And he was actually a pretty productive year at Memphis over the past 2 years where, he was a 2-year starter for them. He finished with over 1,000 yards in 2023 and 4 touchdowns. And this past year, he finished with 950 yards and 2 touchdowns.
There you go.
So it's a pretty productive past 2 years from Rock Taylor in Memphis. He's a big body guy, a speedy guy that's going to be given an opportunity by the Steelers.
Yeah.
And it's, the Steelers love their Memphis guys.
Yeah, I like to see that. So we'll see what he can bring to the table. But I like that big body. I like that speed. You got some playmaking potential down there to potentially make the roster. Another one I hear is South Dakota tight end J.J. Galbraith.
Yes, that is the more recent one, I believe, from South Dakota.
Isn't that
We've got 2 words for you.
Deacon DJ with a 199? Thank you, brother. Isn't that like the second tight end we signed as an undrafted free agent?
Yes, we actually signed 2 tight ends. One of them is J.J. Galbraith, who's actually a pretty phenomenal athlete, according to his, if I can get it here. I just had it. Where did it go?
His RAS score?
Yes, his
RAS score?
RAS, yeah. Relative athletic score. He had an 8.4. He ran a 4.67 40. Pretty impressive score right there. Yeah, he's a pretty athletic tight end. He had 579 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns in 2023 to go along with 469 receiving yards this past year with 4 touchdowns.
I also hear we signed South Alabama tight end DJ Thomas Jones. He's more of like a tight end fullback mixture. So if Arthur Smith wants a new fullback in his system, maybe that's where he can find the best opportunity.
I feel like he's got the build for it. 6'2", 256. If they want to experiment,
256 for 6'2" at a fullback.
Yeah, that's a big body. Yeah, if they want to experiment fullback, there you go.
Deacon DJ with another 199. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Deacon.
Joe Milton. Who said Joe Milton? We should have traded for Joe Milton. Thoughts?
I think that cost was it a 4th rounder?
4th or 5th for the Cowboys?
Yeah, we weren't going to give up on
I was on that train. It didn't happen. But we got Mason. We got Will Hired. So I'm not tripping over Joe Milton. Joe Milton's not the end all be all.
No.
Steelers signed a kicker, folks. Steelers signed a kicker. Ben Sauls. They brought him in for a local visit, and this is almost like the Beanie Bishop in a sense. Beanie Bishop was an undrafted free agent that they brought in as a local visit, and they picked him up last year. Same thing here for Ben Sauls. Is he going to make the roster like Beanie Bishop? Probably not. I don't see him beating out Boz. It's just another camp body. He's actually a left-footed kicker, isn't he?
He's a left-footed kicker. He spent all his years in Pittsburgh. He was a 4-year player for Pittsburgh. And he's got experience at Heinz Field. That's something.
Well, for being a left-foot kicker, you can't be more experienced to kick with the opposite foot in dangerous conditions or football conditions than Heinz Field.
As a matter of fact, this past year, he actually tied the Pittsburgh record, converting a 58-yard field goal in a win over California.
Wow.
So he's got the leg, dude.
Good for him.
And it's nothing more than just insurance. Just to have another kicker on the team, just in case.
Right.
That's all it is.
Steelers signed University of Minnesota guard Aiden Williams. So more O-line depth there for the training camp process.
Yeah, I heard he's more of a versatile piece. He can play guard, he can play tackle, whatnot. Kind of a chess piece along the offensive line.
Yeah.
Another man that's going to be given an opportunity. He's from a small school, but we'll see what he can bring to the table.
For sure. But as far as that's all they have. I would anticipate Dino Tomlin any minute. Who else is still available? Is there anyone available that you guys would prefer they pick up and grab? I would like Theo Weiss if we're looking at receiver.
Yeah, I think he's still available. I mean, I've been trying to stay on top of these undrafted free agent signings from various teams. I have not seen his name signed yet. I haven't seen Logan Brown's name signed yet.
Logan Brown went undrafted?
He went undrafted, yes.
Oh, they better pick his ass up.
I have not seen...
What about Holland Pierce?
I don't think he was signed yet either.
What?
As a matter of fact, hold on. Steelers did sign another wide receiver right here. Keyshawn Williams from Indiana.
Not familiar.
Nah, here, I will check up on that quick.
Keyshawn Williams, huh?
Keyshawn Williams, yes. From Indiana.
Well, they're not going to pick up too many wide receivers, are they?
Now they already have 2, Rock Taylor from Memphis, and now Keyshawn Williams,
More like a slot option.
5'9", 188 pounds, yeah. Yeah, slot option. Return specialist capabilities, from what I'm hearing. Offers kick and punt return potential.
Ryan, I agree. Good to see you in the chat. But yes, I agree. Rodgers isn't worth shit. Run with Mason. I agree. I agree.
I'm right there with you. I'd rather run with Mason than Aaron Rodgers. I've always said that. That's my preference.
What does Rodgers do for us? What does Rodgers do for you? Actually, what's the update on the poll? Do you want Aaron Rodgers? 56% of you guys say no.
56 say no, yes.
There you go. 56. I thought it'd be. That's a lot closer than I thought it'd be, but A-Rod don't do nothing for me.
No, not at all. Not at all.
But he, in my opinion, is inevitably going to be a Steeler, but he could also just retire. The fact that the Steelers waited till the 6th round to take a quarterback kind of shows you that they know something. They're expecting something. How long until we get an answer?
Either they're expecting something or they're highly confident he will come.
It could be tomorrow. It could be next week. It could be next month. It could be by the time training camp hits. Nobody knows. But clearly they're trusting what they have now, and they are relying on the word of a 41-year-old quarterback that should be in bed by now. Just saying.
Yeah. That's the state that we're in, bro.
As of now, no. They did not get Mike Tomlin's son, Dino.
No, I seen that floating around. I believe that's false.
Liam with another 499 says, been a fan my whole life, but we got to face the facts. This just isn't Steelers football. Miss when we play with heart. Hope it turns around, man. That's what I'm hoping.
Yep. Okay, so here's...
I couldn't agree more with you, Liam. I mean, what we've seen the past several years is just, it's not what I knew growing up. It's not what the representation or what that shield means of what, when people see that, they think. It's just, that's not what we've been.
Yeah, that's not what today's style is. It's not the culture of the Steelers.
That's not our reputation anymore, unfortunately.
No.
I wish it was. Maybe we can get back to it. Maybe that's what Khan's trying to get back to.
I mean, there's a reason we call it the Steeler Culture Podcast.
Yeah. Do the Twins want Rodgers? Anthony, no.
No, I'm good.
No, we do not.
But I know he's coming. It's only a matter of time.
Just when? Just when?
How much more longer? It's got to be up until start of training camp, right?
Yeah.
Or at least OTAs, really.
Yeah.
That's what, weeks? 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
I forget.
Something like that. I know it's pretty soon after the draft, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, chat. Let's say Aaron Rodgers signs, because literally that's all we're waiting for now. Like, excuse me.
Catch your breath.
That's all we're waiting for now. We got the draft out the way. We got free agency out the way. It's just a long, exhausting wait up until OTAs and training camp and preseason. But it'll be here before you know it. The draft flew by. The entire offseason process flew by. Now it's just in the dead of the weeds of everything. But all we have to wait on now is the word of Aaron Rodgers. When do you think he will actually announce he's signing with the Steelers? I'm going to say it's going to be in the next week. I'm not pondering on it too much. I'm not going to go to bed tonight thinking, oh my God, when is Aaron Rodgers going to? I'm not worried about it. I'm just saying my prediction is he signs within the next week.
I give it 2 weeks. I give it at least 2 weeks. I don't know when. I don't know where he's even going to announce it. I don't know if it's going to be on the Pat McAfee show. I don't know if Shedeur's just going to come out and say, finally, A-Rod signing with the Steelers, or if it's from Rappaport or Jordan Schultz or Tom Pelissero. I have no idea.
I have no idea either. Steelers Lee says, teams don't fear us or respect us anymore. Look at the reports of what the Ravens said after the playoff game. I mean, that's what several teams have been saying. Remember Kirk Herbstreit during that game? He's like, where is the fight? Where is the Steelers mentality? And
he said that live.
I'm like, bro, that thing been down the Allegheny and to the bottom for years now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Maybe one of these days, maybe one of these years we'll get back to it. But it won't happen until we get new coaching. That's all I know. That's why, one, I'm not expecting much, despite how much I like this draft class. And two, we're just kind of pondering until something happens.
Yeah. Just pondering.
So life as a Steelers fan. Our defensive backs are still going to get exposed like it's OnlyFans. Oh, God.
Sandwave. Wow.
Yeah, I can say I'm more confident in the corner room, but they're rentals, guys. They're here for the short term. They're here for a good time, not a long time.
I can only hope that the Steelers have a true plan and set for after this upcoming season on how to fill the position. And I can only hope that JPJ steps up and he bounces back from a sophomore slump.
Mhm.
He plays a lot better. Or at least they put him in predicaments where JPJ stands out the most instead of having him in zone so damn much.
Yeah. Well, he's also got to stop. With
He's
damn
also got to
penalties.
stop with the penalties, yes.
These guys got to stop with the damn penalties. That's
Stop
my
being
biggest
so
issue.
grabby and pulley and whatnot. JPJ's got to step up.
Yeah, I agree, Donnie. I think he already signed, bro. He's signed. Like
Maybe he did. Maybe they're just dragging this out just for, more story. I have no idea.
No, I think maybe he didn't sign, but I think he gave the Steelers their word. Like, yeah, I'm gonna sign with you. Just let me deal with what I gotta deal with first. So I don't know. I don't care anymore. It happens when it happens. I'm not really pondering on it. I'm not losing sleep over it. I'm gonna continue to move on with my day, with whatever, through life, through everything, without thinking of Aaron Rodgers. It happens when it happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all we have to really wait for now. And I don't know how long we'll be waiting, but I really don't care. We'll see. We'll see, man. We have 3 quarterbacks, Mason, Skyler, and Will Howard. You're right, we do. But Omar Khan said he wants 4. Who's going to be that 4th? Can't draft nobody because it's over. They're going to sign someone else? That's not happening. Well, I mean, they could sign someone. I mean, I don't think they're going to sign an undrafted free agent, but they could sign a vet. Probably will sign a vet.
Yeah, it's either A-Rod or Wentz.
They want A-Rod. I don't want A-Rod, but it could be someone else. They want 4 guys, though. They're going to get it. A-Rod has a statement, hasn't signed, so he can smoke and get lit before contract prevents him. I'd rather try and tackle Derrick Henry full speed than sign Kenny Pickett back. Who said sign Kenny Pickett back? Kenny Pickett is done, bro. He burned the bridge. Once he said he didn't want to compete, quote unquote, compete with Russ, or once he felt like the Steelers did him dirty by saying they bring in competition and they flat out signed Russ, and he threw a sissy fit and said, I want out, I want traded. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
We got Peyton Wilson out of it.
He's never coming back. That's not happening.
I don't want him back. He's garbage.
Neither do I.
He's garbage. He is really, really garbage.
He can stay over in Cleveland.
I don't know where he got that sense of entitlement, but boy, you ain't it, fam. You don't get to do that. You're not that good.
Yeah, now you got to compete with 3 other players.
Does Kenny make the roster? There's no way.
How many quarterbacks do they opt to take? To keep?
Dylan Gabriel has a better arm and Shedeur is more accurate. I don't think Kenny makes the roster. Telling you right now, he's not making the roster.
Well, he's in the last year of his rookie contract. They will not exercise that 5th-year
No
option.
way.
They're not.
I'm upset. I really am.
So
How much longer until he's out of the league?
he'll be in the UFL by next season.
We'll see.
I'm only joking.
I don't know, man. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna put one more poll in the chat because 55% of you guys say you guys don't want Aaron Rodgers. So I'm gonna put a new poll in the chat if it wants to load. There we go. The poll is gonna be: who would you rather be the starter? Because this is gonna be a fun
It's
conversation.
gonna be real fun.
Aaron Rodgers, my guy Mason Rudolph,
My quarterback.
or Will Howard. Who would you rather be the starter this year? Who? Because it's either one of those 3. Who else could it be? We gonna trade for somebody? No, I don't want Kirk Cousins. Gross. Hard pass. No, thank you.
Nope. Nope. Not at his age. Not with his contract. Not at all. I'm good on Kirk. The way he played last year, I mean, there's a reason they benched him for Michael Penix.
What other quarterbacks are available? Carson Wentz.
That's as far as free agency goes.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, and Sam Howell got traded to Minnesota from Seattle.
I don't want Sam Howell either.
I never want him either. His turnover issues, yeah, the Steelers were never looking his way.
And I don't want Will Levis either. He's too turnover heavy.
No,
Putting mayonnaise in his damn.
He can be the backup. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with being a career backup.
No, thank you. I'm cool on that. Let me see. What's the update on the poll? This should be interesting.
Willis?
Wow.
You mean Malik? I don't think Green Bay would trade him away.
No, they're not trading Levis. Not Levis. Oh, Willis.
No, I don't think so.
Wentz is done. Is he done or is he? I don't know. Yeah, bring back Pennsylvania. Pensman Sports. Bring back Pennsylvania.
Yeah, okay.
Skylar Thompson would get the start before Howard. He has an NFL playoff experience. Oh yeah. Skylar Thompson hasn't done anything since then though.
No.
Just signed Nazier Stackhouse. Did we?
Oh, did we?
It's another defensive lineman. Another big,
Is that he's from Georgia, isn't he?
yeah, it's another big defensive lineman. I'm gonna search his name.
It's
See.
another trench player, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to freshen up Twitter, see if there's any news on that.
Oh, the Packers are signing him.
Oh.
What the hell? The Packers are signing him. Yeah, the Packers signed him.
Well, you know what? Good for him.
We didn't sign him. The Packers signed him.
Good for him.
Actually, let me see something.
Matter of fact, Seth McLaughlin, center from Ohio State, I think he's still unsigned.
Really?
I think. Never mind. He's signed with the Bengals.
Oh, poor guy.
Yep. All right. Well, there goes that.
Yeah, all we got is Rock Taylor, Sebastian Castro, Ben Sauls, JJ Galbraith, DJ Thomas Jones, Aiden Williams, and Keyshawn Williams. That's it so far.
So that's 7.
That's it so far.
So far. There could be more. I'm sure there will be more. I think it's only a matter of time, but hey, I mean, like, welcome to the club.
Logan Brown's still out there. I would like to grab him. Him or Holland Pierce, maybe, if he's not signed. Zy Alexander's still out there from LSU. Did Kobe Bryant get signed somewhere?
That's a great question.
How did Kobe Bryant get undrafted?
Let me search his name up. I'm not seeing anything yet.
No one signed Kobe Bryant? No one signed Kobe Bryant.
No, he's still out there.
What?
He's still out there.
What did he do?
He's still available, guys. Who knows?
No one signed Kobe Bryant.
Who knows?
Oh,
I don't know what he did to deserve that.
The Steelers suck.
Yeah, they do. They do, Rocky.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
yeah, Rocky, yes.
They do. Who subbed up? Shout out to Deontay Brown.
Deontay, thank you.
Stay away from my Philly backroom. What are you talking about? Ryan, what are you talking about? What's our biggest need after the draft besides quarterback? Ooh, good question. Besides quarterback? I'm put me on the spot here, buddy. Tackle depth. O-line depth, probably.
I would probably say tackle depth.
Probably tackle depth.
That or cornerback depth.
Yeah, probably backup offensive lineman for sure. Because we already got the depth on the D-line. We got the numbers at corner, which may or may not work out.
Yeah.
We got numbers at safety. Numbers at edge especially. Got plenty of linebackers. We got receivers, running backs. Yeah, I'd say backup O-line. Who's your third string? Ryan, who's your third string?
Here, I'll still drop right now.
Who's the Eagles' third string?
Because I know you got... No, you drafted Kyle McCord, too.
Yeah, why'd y'all draft Kyle McCord?
Well, the Eagles always like to draft a quarterback. That I know. They also have Tanner McGee still, I believe.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And, of course, Hurts. Duh.
Well, 35. Wow, this is a lot closer of a poll than I thought. 35% Mason Rudolph, 33% Will Howard, and 32% Aaron Rodgers.
That's right. They do have Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nah, Tanner's cool. Tanner's good for you guys. That's what, see, y'all have enough confidence.
No,
in
he's
Tanner to
definitely
trade.
the number 2.
Yeah. Plenty of confidence to trade away. I mean, not that you got to fear Kenny going away, but because I didn't.
Yeah, Tanner McGee outplayed Kenny Pickett.
Sure did. Do you think Rudolph is better than he was an improvement? You saying, do I think Rudolph is better than he was when he left the Steelers? I mean, obviously the Titans last year was a disaster. I can't deny that.
No, they were
The
bad.
Titans overall were a disaster. That's why they were the number 1 overall pick. Can't really say they were great. I mean, everything on that team just was lackluster. Everything about that team was lackluster.
I mean, Mason's nothing more than a backup. We all know that. He's a good one. I find him to be one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league.
Right.
But he's also a guy that the team rallies around and supports him.
But if he's got to be a stopgap or a bridge, so be it.
Yeah. I mean, he's a guy that goes out there. He's a gunslinger. He has I have nothing to lose mentality, and he goes out there and does what he needs to do.
I don't see him being a full season starter. Maybe we experience what the Saints experience with Spencer Rattler and Jake Hayner. I don't know.
I don't know what this season holds. I don't know how the quarterback play is going to be. I'm just not expecting a lot. Let me just say that. I'm not expecting much from the quarterback play.
Yeah.
No matter who's under center. I will say, no matter who's under center, they have my full support.
100%. Kenny, number 4 in Cleveland. Who they got? They got Flacco,
Watson, but he's hurt, of course. Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, and Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, he would be the 4. Yeah, he's not making the roster. It'll be, in my opinion, the depth for that team, the depth chart for that team will be Joe Flacco, Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel. Gabriel has a stronger arm. Shedeur's more accurate. And Joe Flacco is just Joe Flacco. The Browns were so happy to have him back. Deshaun Watson, he can count his dollar bills. He can look at his bank account. He's looking at it proudly. Good for him. Good for him, man. He finessed the Browns out of the most ridiculous, lucrative contract I think I've ever seen in sports history. None of it paid off. Absolutely none of it paid off. They could make a move on Jalen Ramsey. I keep hearing they could make a move on Jalen Ramsey, Jair Alexander. People want to throw that out there. I don't think they will because they brought in Slay. They brought in Eccles. I'm not sure they're worried about corner this year. They're going to have Slay coach up the young studs. They're going to have him guide the young people. That's their goal. I don't hate it. It's a rental. It's a Band-Aid once again, which I feel like we've been doing that the last 4 years at the position. But
yeah.
I guess. I wanted them to go after, someone better in free agency, like a Dabo or like a
Carlton Davis. Chardavius Ward, guys like that, a DJ Reed even.
Yeah.
There's some top cornerbacks, and they went with Slay. I know Slay can still play, but he's only here for a year.
Right.
He's 34 years old. The only way I see them addressing the cornerback position at all is if there is like serious bad play or a severe injury at that position, knock on wood.
Austin Browning says Howard could prove everyone wrong. He has the agility and intangibles. I love to give him the shot. Will they? If they sign Rodgers, I don't think so. But if the Rodgers deal goes flat, go at Mason, go at Howard, and see what happens.
See what you can get the best out of.
Obviously, none of those are the answer, but maybe we can see what Howard is made of. And if it goes so bad, then guess what? You don't have to trade up so much.
No.
Or at all. I don't know. Obviously, we're going to need a quarterback next year. I love Troy's coming out of college. Hopefully, he can turn around. If he can stay healthy, I think he's got potential. He's got the frame. He's got the lockdown capabilities. He just needs to stay healthy. It's one of the few 7th-round picks that I think could pan out for us. I don't think Howard gets starts unless injuries happen. That's where I think he's the 3. I think he's going to redshirt.
Yeah, more than likely, Ryan. Yeah, I can see that.
But even so, I don't think that's a bad thing for him in his first year. Like, if that actually becomes reality, I don't think that's a bad thing. And even still, I think what we got in his character and what we got on or off the field for him, I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
And what his role could be.
Better value, dude.
I don't know. Quarterback room could doom us. Again, we could literally go after, we could follow in the Saints' footsteps. That'd be wild.
Time will tell, dude.
We have a better wide receiver room than them. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
But
I'd say it's more reliable.
Much more reliable. Maybe we have a better quarterback room than them than last year. Do we?
Well, it was Derek Carr, Spencer Rattler, and the other dude.
Jake Haener.
Yeah, that guy, yeah.
Jake Haener, yeah.
Eh.
Yo, I can't believe they took Tyler Shook, though.
40th overall.
Yeah, I know. A soon-to-be 26-year-old quarterback went 40th overall in the second round after one full season.
In Louisville.
I hope they don't think he's the future. I can hear the crowd chanting.
Take him second round. I mean, like,
I can hear the crowd chanting, "We want Howard if the quarterbacks suck." Dude, I don't know what this season's going to hold. All I know is I know what not to expect, but it's a long wait, folks.
It's gonna be a long wait, but I'm gonna try to enjoy it whenever it does come here.
Right.
Try to take whatever I can from it.
Yeah, Donnie, I agree. I think Ramsey still got juice in him. I don't know if they look at the corner position. They might be satisfied with their guys. Let's go down the list. They got JPJ, they got Slade, they got Eccles, they got Beanie Bishop, they got Ryan Watts, they got Corey Trice, James Pierre, now Dante Kent.
That's right.
They got enough bodies in there that they're pleased with. I just don't see them going after a corner.
Yeah.
I see them going after backup offensive line. I see them obviously going after Aaron Rodgers. Anywhere else they could go after? Maybe. I don't know. They got some cap space to sign some extra guys if they really needed to, if they really want to. Omar Khan always loves to have that comfortability there. I feel like for this upcoming season, as great as it might not look in a lot of areas, they might be pleased with some of the roster.
Right.
Based off what they have tonight, right now, going forward. They might be pleased with what they have.
I mean, listen, on paper, and this is every year, every year on paper, it seems like a very stacked roster. It's a stud team. It's just, it really obviously has to translate on the field.
It's a very young team, which was very necessary. Very young team.
Yeah.
This 2025 season, man, it's what? It's April. 4 months. More like three until training camp, but 4 until we see some like legitimate action. 3.5.
Suck.
Rafiki Bombay subbed. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Rafiki.
Probably Rafiki. Yeah, we got 3.5 months until action. It's gonna be a long wait, and the only thing we have to excite us, ladies and gentlemen, is Aaron Rodgers. Giddy up! It's gonna be a fun 3 months, man. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. With that being said, I think we're going to call it a stream. It's about 10 o'clock over here. It's been a long day.
It's been a busy day, dude.
It's been a busy weekend. We've been streaming every day this week.
Since Monday.
Since Monday. It's been a great week. It's been a fun week. The NFL draft is over. It's bittersweet because it's fun, but at the same time, it's over. And we got to wait until next year. Live in Pittsburgh, we'll be there for it, but no more mock drafts, no more speculation. We got answers. We got our guys. We got our picks in. So we'll see what they can do. I'm very excited for their future. I'm pleased with this draft class. It's not fancy. It's not crazy, but it wasn't meant to be.
It's all about building a foundation. It's about bettering certain positions, necessary positions. It's all about building around the quarterback position.
Agreed. And that's what their mission statement was this year. And that's not going to end for next year. I mean, it's a waiting game. It's a patient situation for us. But I trust the process of Omar Khan. We'll see what they can do in this upcoming season. But we're going to call it a stream, man. We're going to call it the end of the week. So we'll see you later.
Unless A-Rod signs to say, yeah, I'm signing tomorrow.
Yeah, he signs tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. But otherwise, until Aaron Rodgers signs or whatever, we'll see you later on. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And otherwise, man, thank y'all for a great week. Thank y'all for a great draft season. Appreciate you guys for tuning in for all the draft coverage. We tried to give you guys as much as we could. And next year's in Pittsburgh. We'll be there. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of you guys in there. I can't wait. So the next time the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock, it'll be in Pittsburgh for their franchise quarterback. I am counting down the minutes now. I can't wait for it.
Yes, sir.
So until next year, we'll see y'all next draft coverage. But we'll see you guys throughout the offseason for more content coming. So stay posted, stay stubbed, stay liked. Appreciate y'all. And this upcoming season, Aaron Rodgers is probably going to be our quarterback.
Just a matter of time.
It's only a matter of time until it's announced, man.
Yeah.
Y'all have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your week. Make the end of April a strong one, and we'll see you in the next one. Here we go, Steelers. Thank you all for so much, man.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later.
Peace!